on their own job. Can they get another double against an opposition tonight in Kings Lynn Town, who come into tonight's game with a bit of a boom and bust mentality when it comes to their results? Lots of wins and draws, lots of wins and losses, I beg your pardon, but not many draws, just one of those in 12. Scarborough 1 loss in 7 here at Bridlington, but only 2 wins in 12 either, so whether your glass is half full or half empty, that's for you to decide. 1 loss in 10 overall. It should make for a really intriguing fixture, because there has been some changes for Scarborough Athletic tonight, and there is 2 of them, and it's 2 big stars out of the side tonight. Stephen Walker and Harry Green are missing tonight through injury. Richie Bennett comes in along with Alex Wiles for his first start in 2026. Whitley in goal, Duckworth, Willegy, Thornton and Brown with Tier, Waldron and Wiles in midfield. Colville and Allen are out wide. Bennett is up front. Chapman and Sheehu are on the bench from the regular first teamers, whilst Reeves, Hyde and Stuttard are academy players, reserve players, called upon tonight, if necessary, by Jonathan Greening. Kings Lynn made 2 changes of their own from the team which won 1-0 against Marine for Paul Caddis in his first game in charge. Aaron Chapman's their goalkeeper, Rhys Doherty, Tom Wilson, Tom Dickens and Serena Trosso. Ross Crane, Michael Clunan, Martin Woods, Jaden Davis, Terry Bondo and Carlton Ubazonu, who's been announced today as a permanent signing on a 2-year contract. Paul Jones, Ben Collins, Adam Marriott, Ty Fleming, Morgan Williams, Jack Lambert and Festus Arthur are the 7 on the bench for Kings Lynn, as Dave Jones, our referee, gets us underway. A first opportunity to welcome Michael Coulson to the commentary box. And from afar, Michael, how have you seen things this year from Scarborough Athletic, and I guess your former teammates as well? How much have they progressed?
I think it's been great to see the up chance early on.
Chance straight away. Bennett has picked out Rio Allen inside the area, can't get his feet right, and the ball is cleared away. Not usually seeing Bennett whip the ball into the penalty area, but he did there, and that wasn't too far away. Allen a little bit unlucky, throwing over on the far side, and Wiles collects, moves it back towards Kieran Willegy. Then Wiles back to Willegy once more. I'm going to look for a long ball forward. It's more of a hit and hope through the air. Kings Lynn's header is in field, but now they get it away, and Wiles collects centre circle in Kings Lynn half as Scarborough attack the town bar end. I think we're a bit safer maybe to bring you in now, Michael.
Yeah. Just a quick point, obviously.
Done it again, cursed, as Kings Lynn are on the move now. Alex Brown losing his footing, and now it's picked up by Crane. Brown puts a tackle in towards Clunan. He tries to dig a ball out wide, which Duckworth heads now towards Rio Allen, and the ball might slip out of play for a throw in on the far side. Eventually it does. Right, third time lucky. Michael Corson, good evening to you.
Good evening. Yeah, I think Scarborough, obviously someone's decided to change hands here, and we did that on Saturday, and it's quite a strong wind out there, so I think Scarborough will be looking to get off to a quick start using the wind, and like they did within 30 seconds had a really good opportunity. So I think it's key that Scarborough get a couple of goals up in this half, because I think it'll be a game in 2 halves. You
enjoying time here at Bridlington as well, just as the referee gives a free kick Kings Lynn's way?
Yeah, it's been good. I'm not ready to pack in yet. I'm getting old and body's not feeling great all the time, but I'm still enjoying it, and still enjoying being part of a changing room.
I won't ask you the question directly, but one fan who got in touch with us on BBC Radio was asking if you would ever, once you retire, take up maybe some form of coaching with Scarborough Athletic. Of course, you're with Bridlington Town, so we'll just let that one bubble away for a few months at least, as Kings Lynn get a free kick with Chapman on the halfway line, booms it towards the left wing. It should bounce once or twice out for a throw-in. Instead it stays in play. Duckworth will look to hack it forward down that right wing and out for a throw-in on the far side Kings Lynn's way, who haven't brought too many fans as you would expect tonight, given the long journey from Norfolk on a Tuesday night as well. It's one of those that was in the calendar at the start of the year, and I imagine a few of the fans from the Norfolk club probably cringed at as a throw-in is taken into the area. Push there on Will Thornton, and the referee Dave Jones gives a free kick inside Ryan Whitley's penalty area. So energetic start, even though there hasn't really been too much purchase at either end to get a shot away.
Yeah, I think the couple of strikers for Kings Lynn look fairly sharp. Nearly got onto a couple of balls, so I think Scarborough need to be aware of that. It's a bit of a scrappy start, but I'm sure it'll settle down soon and hopefully see a few chances.
From what you've seen so far this season, how big a miss will Stephen Walker and Harry Green be tonight? Of course, big names, but the pair of them out tonight as well might make some fans a little anxious.
Yeah, I think with Greeny, it's that unpredictability, that you don't know what's going to happen. He makes things happen out of nowhere, like he did on Saturday for the goal. And them players are indispensable in a team. With Waka, I haven't seen much of him play, to be honest, but he's obviously putting the ball in the back of the net, which is massive for any football club. So yeah, going to be two big misses, but again, the players on the pitch are more than capable of winning this game of football.
He's got excellent footwork, likes to chop the ball inside the penalty area this way and that, as the game just loses a bit of rhythm, throwing down the far side, which Duckworth will try and throw in and get Scarborough moving, but it's cleared away by Kings Lynn Town. Fifth in the table tonight, Scarborough Athletic on 57 points. Kings Lynn, as Pete mentioned in the build-up to this game, 17th tonight, currently 8 points above the drop zone, but there could be possible sanctions and deductions on the way for Kings Lynn after a bit of suspected tomfoolery with their sprinklers ahead of a game with South Shields, we're so told. That's how the local press are calling it anyway, as there will be over on the far side a throw-in, final third. Waldron will toss it in, and there is a decent contact and batted around inside the box, and now cleared forward up towards Ubazonu, and now it will be him to run forward in the blue kit and wearing number 9 on debut tonight with the tape on his left wrist. He will now deliver a ball out wide into the left wing. Kings Lynn trying to tiptoe in there. There's 3 to aim at in the box. It's stood up towards the back post. Ubazonu ran out of space and the ball just got away from him as Scarborough Athletic clear their lines and away. Clunan will go back into the defence now with Dickens, and Kings Lynn may look at restarting just on the halfway line. Michael Coulson.
Yeah, I think Carlton Uspengu, if that's how I said it right, has certainly started the game brightly and is causing Scarborough a lot of problems, so they need to be aware of him in behind especially.
Cleared by Brown after Crane tried to whip a ball into the penalty area. I can tell you that Merthyr have gone 1-0 down very early doors in the National League North. They are against Chester tonight in South Wales, and Leamington lead 1-0 away at Hereford, as well as I think a foul throwing's being given there by the linesman as referee blurs. Ubazonu will throw the ball over towards Doherty. Not too sure what actually happened there. Maybe the ball went a bit flat, I'm not too sure, but it gave some amusement to the fans as Doherty and Clunan combine from the throwing. Colville, right in front of us, wins it back in this left midfield area. He'll bump it back towards Brown. He's got his head up and he's looking in field, and he'll play it to Bennett. Bennett on halfway now to Wiles. Lots of minutes for him tonight as Brown, just a bit of a awkward first touch, maybe stopped him from setting the ball forward quicker, as it's back into the midfield of Kings Lynn with Woods. They try and work it over to Crane. Colville comes in with a tackle, combining with Brown, and good footwork from Colville. Flashes a ball out wide now towards Rio Allen, 20 yards out right side into the penalty area. Waldron to Tier, he's missed an open goal. They squared it across and Tier has somehow spooned it wide of the target. Massive chance, maybe the biggest of the night. 5 minutes played, 0-0.
Great play from Luca Colville there, cut inside, played a great ball out to Rio Allen. Got at his man, and you're just expecting the net to bulge, and unfortunately it looks like Dom sort of tripped over his own feet before the ball. So great signs though for Scarborough, getting down the sides, getting balls in the box.
It was such a brilliant ball out wide as well, and then the touch in field from Rio Allen completely opened them up, and that will give them some confidence going forward as Brown heads the ball from that long goal kick. It's flying around in the air. That wind has suddenly picked up in the last hour or so. It's been quite calm here on the East Yorkshire coast. Brown from left back will try and fly one through the air, looking for Rio Allen. That's well covered, however, over on the far side that time from Simone Trosser, the 18-year-old, on loan from MK Dons. Back towards Duckworth. That's a big booming ball into the area, and for Aaron Chapman, it's easy pickings at 6'8" into the big bread basket and away upfield as well. I mean, as a goalkeeper, just down there in his orange kit, he stands like a giant, doesn't he?
He certainly looks big in that goal, doesn't he? Yeah, I wouldn't fancy taking a penalty against him, I know that.
No, well, just to keep as low and as wide of him as possible, make it snuggle up to the post either side, perhaps. But that's maybe on a more, tactical point of view, that's maybe how Scarborough have to take aim at him tonight. Make sure he has to topple over every now and again. As we see Brown in left wing position, low ball into the area, little touch by Kings Lynn. Woods then tries to help it out of the box as they bump it around their defence. Brown flies in with a tackle, gathered now by Tier, left side 20 yards out, tries to play a through ball And Kings Lynn will clear upfield, looking for either Bondo or Ubazonu. And Weleji got 2 for the price of 1, bringing it down on his foot, spinning, and then playing the ball to a midfielder.
Yeah, it's great defending that by Keezer. I think, Scarborough look comfortable, but they've just got to be careful on this counter-attack. Kings Lynn are sort of just leaving 2 bodies up front. Again, Scarborough's free, so... just need to be aware.
Waldron's gone searching a long ball forward from midfield, and it was Weleji who tried to pick him out. I think the wind was against him that time. It just flies through in towards Aaron Chapman, as Waldron, I think, has got the scent after scoring against Oxford City, flying forward in the latter stages. He's, I think, enjoying that role all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's just that energy. I think Scarborough have got a lot of energy in positions that are important, and they're making runs, and no one's tracking them at the moment.
Bennett will play in field towards Colville. Colville just allowed as Michael picks up there to break away from a marker. Brown into Bennett. Energetic from Scarborough as they bop it around. 25 yards out left side. Colville rotates into midfield with Waldron. Now for Brown once again. Brown will play to Waldron. He's tried to knit a through ball up towards Dom Tier. He's got Wilson on his back. Colville takes it off his toes towards the corner flag, helped in field towards Tier. He goes down under pressure, somehow prizes the ball back towards Colville as they pass and move. Scarborough Athletic. It's Brown looking for that angle to cross. Bennett's the only one in there at the moment as they continue to be patient and try and find that opening. Waldron moves it onto his right foot, delivers from deep into the path of Dom Tier. He's worked it out of the area now to Duckworth. Combines with Wiles. Plenty of passes in this move. Duckworth out to the right wing though. Can he find a way through? The answer is no, but it will be a throw-in right on the corner flag.
Some really good football there from Scarborough in difficult conditions, lending the ball, creating different angles, and it's been a good start. Really good start.
Jonathan Greening's always mentioned to us, Cooley, that it's one of those where he loves to see players flying on and the ball being zapped about, but do you think that little passage of play there and the rotations are things that make Jonathan Greening light up with joy more than anything? What in terms of a coaching aspect?
I think as a lot of managers would, they want to see the players enjoying the football. You want to be excited if you're a manager on the sideline, and Scarborough have certainly got the players who can excite people.
Throw in taken, bounces inside the area. Kings Lynn trying to scramble clear. Thornton was the target, and those in blue have done so as Brown will reset and go back to Whitley outside his box. I think he had a bit more time as Ubazonu was tempted to press. Whitley has given it a good thud away. I think maybe that's why the teams have been rotated round, because they're getting a bit of pace into their long ball play. Brown tries to cover Crane. The ball's flown up in the air. They both spin around and look for it, and Crane has come out better into the area on the right hand side. Thornton comes across and will just move the ball out of play for a throw, and he was diving down and he thought that there might have been a possible foul, but I think it was maybe just...
As a striker, I wouldn't be happy if that was given against me.
No, I was going to say, don't think he touched him. Thornton committed himself with the armband on, of course, now. Do you always think he was made to be a captain?
Yeah, that's the sort of guy Will is. He loves that responsibility. Natural leader.
Crane just tried to whip a ball into the air, and it was Thornton who cleared away as Clunan, now 35 yards from goal, combines with Bonder into Woods, finds Clunan again, the centre midfielder formerly of Scunthorpe United but back at Kings Lynn where his career began. Out wide with Trosso. He's trying to weave his way through and tries to set a ball into the penalty area but unsuccessful. And then Davis tries to work across, which looked like it might have hit Michael Duckworth, but the referee Dave Jones has given it as a goal kick, hence maybe a bit of frustration from both camps there over on the far side. Jaden Davis in particular heavily animated. How did you see that one, Michael?
It's hard to see because I've got a big paw right in front of my head, but unfortunately it looked like the Kings Lynn guy was going to let out for a corner and he thought it was a corner, so sometimes you just got to get on with them decisions. It's hard enough for the referees. I like to moan at them here and there, but there's no point. Just get on with the game.
If a Bridlington Town and former Scarborough Athletic man can complain about the poles in the stand, we can too going forward as Alex Brown plays it back towards Ryan Whitley. Whitley slips in the D as he clears away, but the ball has sprung forward without too much trouble. Right back to right mid as the ball flies forward, up towards Dom Tier now. He's got a few bodies around him. It's quite scrappy as Tier runs towards the box. Wiles will try and take the ball now off Jaden Davis, and his ball forward is intercepted on halfway by Michael Duckworth, who just brings a bit of calmness.
Yeah.
Moves it infield to Colville.
I just think from experience, from playing out there in these sort of conditions, I think if Kings Lynn can get to half-time 0-0, they'll be a very happy team. I know it doesn't look windy and doesn't feel it, but when you're on the pitch it's really difficult to get the ball forward and clear it, so it's pretty much backs to the wall, I think, for Kings Lynn this half.
And they'll galvanise, and obviously if they absorb that pressure as well, that'll give them that confidence, as you say.
Yeah.
As the ball goes out for a throw-in on the far side. You're listening to BBC Radio York across all frequencies tonight, just shy of a quarter hour gone. Former striker Michael Coulson alongside us. Only Ryan Blott has more goals, but as Michael said in the build-up, he feels that the tiers he playing were not as superior as...
You still got to put him in the net though, haven't you? And
do.
He's a great finisher, right? So give him his credit where it's due.
Allen has got the ball 20 yards out on that right-hand side, trying to dance away from his nearest marker in Dickens.
He's got away with that.
And Bonder will just move that ball back towards Crane in his long sleeves and gloves tonight. Manages to move past halfway. The ball just didn't want to settle for him, and Tier just got a little toe in there to move the ball away from him. Brown has gone from left mid to right mid with Rio Allen in a lovely crossfield pass. Duckworth then tried to play one a bit cuter down the right hand touchline. First one was blocked. Bennett moves it to Wiles. Wiles lifts it up into the air, 35 yards out, maybe 40, and back towards halfway now. Waldron and Colville combine. Over into space now for Alex Brown as Kings Lynn have to shuffle across. Waldron goes seeking out Luca Colville, who's tucked in and now trying to move away from his marker.
He's got such great feet, Luca. You get tight to him, but he just turns, and he's a great player to watch, really, and to play with, to be honest. His levels are really high, Luca.
He talks about the 4-3 win against Kings Lynn being his favourite match.
Yeah.
And I have to say, the goals that have flown in this game, this fixture I should say, because it's 0-0 here, but what is it about this occasion? Because you wouldn't normally see, is it just simply because of the different tactical styles they adopt over the years?
Yes, and looking at this game, I think there seems to be quite a lot of space out wide in both teams, which probably suits both teams as well, because it looks like they've got a lot of pace. Kings Lynn on the wings as well, so maybe if the teams are trying to get the ball out wide and create opportunities.
Drop us a message tonight on 81333 via the text, and 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp as well. Start your message with the word York tonight. Send us your thoughts and any questions you want to ask Michael as well whilst he's here, on his experiences of Scarborough Athletic as well. Keep it clean, keep it legal, as the ball is out for a free kick over on the far side on the halfway line. Just a little nibble, I think, there from one of the Kings Lynn midfielders. Sees Waldron stand over the ball now. Brown is wandering over to maybe create that close option.
These are the big opportunities for Scarborough, aren't they? They're good from set plays, and they need to make the most of these with the players they've got. Keezer will obviously be sniffing around for a goal in there.
He's got plenty of a handful again this year, and he's not really had to play a striker too much apart from that brief spell as it is lifted into the area. Bennett is going to give chase to the second ball, left of the box, tries to cross in. Doherty does well, blocks the ball behind into the town bar end, and it's a corner kick. 0-0 at the moment. I can tell you some latest scores whilst we wait for the corner to be set up. Macclesfield are behind against Marine by a goal to 0. Merthyr 1, Chester 1 is also a latest scoreline of those around Scarborough in the playoff hunt. Still waiting for Colville to walk over. South Shields lead 1-0 against Chorley. Curzon 1, Oxford City 1 as well. Everywhere else is 0-0 in the National League North. Corner then from the left side at the town bar end, and a heavily congested 6-yard box. Lots of movement towards the back post. It's underneath it's over Chapman and nearly underneath him into the back of the net. Thankfully the roof comes to his aid and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think Waldron might have been trying to use the wind there to have a sneaky little shot in on goal, because he certainly took the wind, and but quite a good idea actually. If you can get the whip on it and keep it low, it gives the keeper all sorts to deal with, but they're slightly too high there.
I know Luca Colville's in the team, but Rio Allen at Hereford a couple of weeks ago from the right hand side, he managed to find the back of the net direct from a corner, doing the exact same thing, managing to get some lift and a bit of curve at the same time. So why not, if the ability is there? Willeji just trying to help the ball out of defence in a quite high line for Scarborough Athletic. for what we're used to seeing in recent weeks. 0-0 at the moment as we've played around about 19 minutes here on BBC Radio York, and we're on air till 10 o'clock tonight. So the thoughts of Jonathan Greening will be available, hopefully live, and if not, it will be available via BBC Sounds. Big game this for Scarborough Athletic tonight in that playoff hunt, as Kings Lynn try and go a little bit more direct up towards their new striker Ubazonu. Wiles collects though in midfield, tries to help it down the right hand side. No runners in red, so Wilson will try and clear, but the wind has been his enemy and it's sliced
the wind and the bobbles. Yeah.
Everything was against him in that one.
I think, yeah, you can see the ball bobbling around Everett. It's difficult out there for the players. Don't like really making excuses, but it's certainly hard.
If you're a golfer, I don't know if you are, Michael, but I think you probably need 2 or 3 more clubs.
Yeah, I like
for that one.
I like a game of golf, I must admit, yeah.
Here comes Bennett. He's going to play over towards Alex Brown, 35 yards out just to the left, trying to combine with Colville, who's trying to thread the ball in behind that back line of Kings Lynn, but cleared. Ubazonu collects, chests down, and Wiles goes in pursuit. Through ball, looking for Bondo. Welleji though, goal side, gets a good first touch away from him, and then clears the ball out for a throw into the applause of the Scarborough fans alongside us here in the main stand at Queensgate. 20 minutes gone, Scarborough 0, Kings Lynn 0.
Really good covering by Keezer there. He's a quick lad, and he's used his pace to get him out of trouble there, and good defending.
Doherty has the ball in hand. Tier is marking up Clunan as the short option. There's a bit of movement from Crane. Crane now manages to spin away from Colville, but Brown is going to keep guard back towards Clunan. Little bobble as he lifts it forward. Thornton though plants his head on it and away. Tier trying to find Colville. Colville eventually gets on it. Had to go through Ross Crane's foot to get there. As now Brown booms the ball against Crane. I think it hit him maybe just around about a sensitive area, and the referee Dave Jones blows the whistle to check that the number 20 is alright as he bends over and just feels a little bit of pain, but I think the referee says that there's no blood, as it I think hit him on the bridge of the nose as he trots back into position. They do hurt those,
not what you need on a cold night in Bridlington.
We certainly don't. As Brown now throws it away down the line, Clunan lets Doherty head the ball, but he's only headed it behind him, so Wilson has to cover over. Tier now trying to get it forward again, as plenty of exchanges of possession.
Great ball.
Kings Lynn down the right hand side. Ubazonu at pace. Thornton catches him with a nice solid contact. Ubazonu, to his fair credit, up on his feet, makes no fuss of it as the ball goes out for a throw in. The ball was taken cleanly. Nothing wrong with that, is there? Nice gutsy challenge.
Yeah, strong by Will. He's obviously in good form this well, he's been in good form since he's been at Scarborough, but he seems like he's really on it this season, Big Will, and he's leading by example.
Doherty throws it in short towards Ubazonu. A couple of runners down this right hand side. Crane, one of those, trying to flick it through to Doherty, but far too much on the ball, and it runs out harmlessly for a goal kick. It's 0-0 here after 22 minutes. I'll just quickly inform you that Telford lead away at Fylde by a goal to 0. Chorley are back level at home to South Shields, as are Macclesfield away at Marine. 0-0 here though, and goals have actually been quite rare here for Scarborough Athletic. Only Leamington, Alfreton and Hereford have scored fewer, which I found quite surprising looking at the table earlier on. 21 goals is what Scarborough have collected at home this season.
That's a crazy stat, really, when you think about it, but for the amount of quality and flair players Scarborough have, but maybe they can use the pitch as a little bit of an excuse.
Colville giving chase to Kings Lynn into the area. Ubazonu trying to get away from Welleji, and here is a chance, but Bondo side footing from 10 yards only finds the hands of Whitley. Just a little loose for the first time in the penalty area. Scarborough Athletic, they breathe a sigh of relief, as Whitley always makes a big save in a Scarborough Athletic match regardless of who it is, and he makes a big one there to keep it at 0-0.
I think it was an easier save than what it should have been, to be honest there. I think it's a really good opportunity, just not got hold of it, and comfortable for Wits there, but yeah, big chance for Kings Lynn that.
With your striker's hat on then, you'd be disappointed if you was Terry Bondo in that instance.
Yeah, I think if you're right footed and the ball comes across there, your eyes light up, and I think his eyes have probably lit up and he's not concentrated on this shot. He hasn't got a very good connection and he's just dribbled it into Witz's hands.
On loan from Blackpool, he's got 3 goals in 5 outings. His loan spell extended today, along with the announcement of Carlton Ubazonu alongside him. Bonder will try and drift in from a left wing position as they play 4-2-3-1 Kingsley this evening. And ball's out for a throw on the far side for Scarborough, midway into Kings Lynn's half, as Waldron and Allen now combine back towards Wiles. And cleared away though by Kings Lynn. Thornton just turns back towards his own penalty area, does give it to Ryan Whitley. Ubazonu gives up the chase, but he has forced Whitley to send one down field rather than maybe trying to play out. Allen collects 35 yards out from goal, has a shot which just hits the heels of Wilson. Colville gives chase to the loose ball, collects it. Thornton on halfway to Brown. Brown moves it back in field towards Thornton. You can see further afield, Waldron is just trying to orchestrate the play and telling them to move it to the right as Wiles drops in between defenders. Waleji moves it forward to Rio Allen. He loses the wrestle. Trosso tries to clear, and then Waleji is quite a strong pass back towards Ryan Whitley. Trusts the touch of the goalkeeper, and it was a good one. And Waleji now looks to clear downfield, looking for Richie Bennett. He's going to get on the ball now via Dom Tier.
Linesman dropped his flag, but he managed to get it up in the end.
He did. A late decision, Richie Bennett feels, and I think when he actually gets told why, he'll understand, as Richie Bennett sent off in this fixture last year. Has only 2 goals, but he has had injury issues as he starts to creep up in age for a footballer at the age of 34.
I think Richie Bennett sort of brings a lot of people into the game. There's a lot of the ugly side of it really well. Probably helps the likes of Greeny and Luca and Dom Tier by getting in off him, which helps everyone else. So yeah, not always going to get the goals, but definitely helps the team in different ways.
He's been well disciplined this year in comparison to last. Sent off on 2 occasions, got into double figures for bookings as well. And fines going in left, right and centre to the local county FA as Kings Lynn try and work the ball up towards the penalty area, but
you have to pay your own fines at Scarborough as well, so he'll be coming out of his own money.
Did Jonathan Greening have quite a strict fine list, or was he bestowing that responsibility to someone else?
No, it was on the players. But yeah, John, if there was something major, then Jono would make sure it was sorted. But yeah, the players had a good environment. Didn't accept sloppiness, which I think is key.
Toughest fine you had to pay?
To be honest, I'm very sensible. I'm never late. I'm always got clean boots. I don't actually know. I very rarely had to pay a fine. I'm quite tight.
You might have slashed someone's tyres without us knowing.
No, not me.
Here is Rio Allen, right wing position, over on the far side, but referee has spotted an infringement and a free kick as Allen was trying to wriggle away. Bit of pushing and shoving, and now a chance to whip the ball into the penalty area.
A lovely little angle for Luca Colville, this, with his left foot. I'd expect a good quality ball in by Luca here, potentially even a shot.
From over there, I would have envisaged a cross from Colville.
Shot, I'm going.
Maybe use the wind.
Yes.
So we know what's going on in your mind if you're standing over this free kick as a striker.
If it was on the other side of the pitch, on my right foot maybe, yeah, but certainly not on my left. But yeah, Luca's got great quality. I'd expect this to be on the money.
Well, Chapman's banging his gloves. He's ready and waiting as the ball is hit with pace, and into the net it goes! Michael Coulson called it. The pace, the dip, and Luca Colville goes over to the technical area. That's why this man alongside me has been a player manager. It's 1-0 Scarborough Athletic.
Yeah, just as soon as you get a free kick in them areas, you know with the quality of Luca that it's going to be on the money, and he says he's put it into a great area. Everybody's missed the ball and it's gone straight into the far post. So yeah, brilliant, great goal by Luca.
4th of the season. All the players heading over there just to get maybe a quick drink and some words of encouragement further from Jonathan Greening. 27 minutes played and they lead by 1-0. And something that has maybe eluded them this season, Michael, is the fact that when they do score, it's come later in football matches. How settling is it when you get your noses in front within the first half an hour of a match?
Yeah, and I think it's key. I think it's key that they don't take the foot off the gas. They need to get a couple of goals here, because the second half's going to be difficult. It's going to be a completely different game for Scarborough in the second half. So we found this on Saturday with Brid. We scored one, we let the other team back into it. In the second half, we really struggled to get out. So yeah, I think they need to really put the foot on the gas now, Scarborough, and go get a goal or two.
Well, Kings Lynn from their kick-off trying to dart one over towards the right wing, and the ball hung in the air and just darted backwards as the wind takes hold. A throw-in goes Kings Lynn's way because linesman on this near side felt it might have just brushed a red shirt on the way out, which the fans, as you can probably hear alongside me, are displeased about. Doherty tries to throw it in and Thornton clears away, so throwing from pretty much the same place, but that one ball from kick-off may be telling Michael Coulson how tricky the conditions are for Kings Lynn in his first 45 minutes. Yeah,
as soon as it goes in the air, it's just stopping completely, isn't it? It's hard to get the ball in behind to use their strengths, which is the striker's speed, so they are struggling a little bit, but you know, they'll know that they're still in the game if they keep this score 1-0.
Bennett's whipped a really nice ball out to the right wing, helped on by Waldron, looking for Rio Allen. I think from Kings Lynn's point of view defensively, it was a very cheap free kick to give away for Colville to strike. It was one of those, just, you know, a little bit of pushing and shoving, and it was one of those in a nothing area of the field, really.
Yeah, as a manager, you'd be disappointed with that. Yeah, absolutely. Just stand up, don't give cheap fouls away. Scarborough good from set pieces as well, so you know he'd have probably relayed that before the game, so he won't be happy with that.
Aaron Chapman will be annoyed that he's been beaten from so far out with the bounce of the ball, but the pace that it had on it as well. As Bennett moves the ball towards Allen over on the right wing. Now they've got to shuffle over. Tempted through ball. Kings Lynn will clear away and out for a throw-in pretty much parallel to the penalty area. As you're listening to BBC Radio York Sport, on air till 10 o'clock tonight, Scarborough Athletic against Kings Lynn Town in the National League North. It's going well at the moment for those in red. Kings Lynn just struggling in the last few moments to get out of their own half, as Waldron has a throw-in on the far side. Now, can he get some purchase on this to help it for a flick on? As it has been flicked on by Thornton. No runners, however, and Chapman just gobbles it up in his bright orange kit, but doesn't get Kings Lynn away quickly, even though he's got 8 seconds to work with. Dave Jones counting it down, and cleared by Chapman. It's going to hang in the wind.
I don't think I've seen anyone been penalised for that 8-second rule. Yeah, I don't know if you have, but
it's happened once. It's happened once with Scarborough this year. It was at Macclesfield away,
right? And
it was the Macclesfield goalkeeper who got the decision against him. Unfortunately, Scarborough that afternoon couldn't do anything with the corner. I think it's one of those gimmick. I don't think is the right word, but I can understand why it's been brought in to help speed up the game. But then again, how many times do you see maybe a player going down injured now, and you know, players heading over to the sidelines to get tactical instructions as Bennett chases a ball in behind. Kings Lynn have to be careful. They clear away. Their two centre halves were anticipating a bit of danger, and they might have a bit more on their plate here, because Trosser waiting for Rio Allen right wing, clears away. Solid header though by Michael Duckworth, who now gets shoved over. He's gone looking for a free kick as Kings Lynn try and work it forward. Wiles though battling away in midfield, wins it back. Clunan, edge of his own box, turns well, and now looks to set Ubazonu away. Former Scunthorpe teammates together. Thornton clears for a throw-in.
Yeah, you can see Kings Lynn. You can see they've got, you know, the idea is to get the ball in behind Scarborough, but they're just struggling to get the distance on it at the moment. I think, you know, the Scarborough will have to be aware of that second half especially, but you know, I think Scarborough have started the game really well. Most of the players been in Kings Lynn's half, so they'll be happy.
A second goal would be most welcomed, I think, as Wiles looks to move the ball over towards Rio Allen. He was a bit flat-footed. It was well anticipated on that far side by Trosser, as now Kings Lynn whip a ball into the area, well blocked, and it's going to be a throw-in over on the far side. Thought for a minute a corner might have been given, as Jaden Davis tried to whip a ball in, well blocked however by Scarborough, as they just have to do a spot of defending with 33 minutes played. 1-0 Scarborough Athletic lead. Luca Colville's direct free kick, surpassing everybody and sliding into the net from around about 30 yards out from the right hand side. There's Kings Lynn taking a bit of time here to get the ball back in play. And they don't do too much with it as Allen works well, and it'll now be a throw-in for Scarborough in the right-back area. Very anticlimactic.
Good, really good organisation from Scarborough. Weren't giving anything easy there, no feet and back. Forced Kings Lynn into his mistake and come out with the ball. So yeah, really good defending.
Anything that Scarborough could work on, do you think, at this moment in time, or do you feel they've got it relatively under control as we see Kings Lynn come forward, whipping a ball in? Bondo tries to head it, and Colville might just help this away in a moment. Brown gives it the old heave-ho. It's got a lot of purchase on it. It's actually in behind the defence of Kings Lynn. Chapman heads it out, and Kings Lynn should clear away. But
I just think
free kick as Ubazonu is caught there by Alex Wiles, just running through. Free kick on halfway. But going back to the point there of Scarborough, maybe anything they need to brush up on?
I think they just need to get the ball wide early, to be honest with you. I think that's where they're going to cause problems, if they can get the ball wide and get overlaps, get balls into the box, because it's hard to defend out there with balls bouncing in the box. A lot of the play at the moment is sort of centrally. I think if they can get it more wider, they'll definitely cause more problems.
And we'll see what Kings Lynn do here then from this free kick, as Clunan will put one arm up in the air and will look to deliver with his white boots. Bennett's back defending, and he leaps well, and Tier 18 yards out, swings his right foot at it and clears the ball away up towards halfway. Waldron will not get on the ball. Trosso shields it, and out of play for throwing right in between the two technical areas as Paul Caddis patrols. Long old journey from Hereford to Kings Lynn. I hope he's got a new house temporarily.
It's a nasty journey, Kings Lynn. It's not the nicest of roads, is it, to get there either?
Definitely not. I mean, at least when up here in Bridlington and Scarborough, at least you're just basically heading south. Maybe have to skip across to the A1 for a bit, but then after that it's pretty much plain sailing down to Kings Lynn. There's Doherty, right midfield area, turns away from Colville. Brown though, he's always just in the shadow of Colville, isn't he? He's always there to back him up as Tier clears away. One or two appeals that might have been a little late, kick by Crane on Brown as Kings Lynn have it back again. Waldron pestering Wilson. He's got to go back now towards Chapman. Ball bobbles in front of him, and that has gone straight up into the air. Waldron watching it out of the night sky. Brought down by him with a couple of bounces. Now for Colville, 25 yards from goal from the left. He's trying to wriggle his way through. Still he goes on. Just maybe one dribble too many as Kings Lynn now try and clear using the pace of Ubazonu. Thornton clears into touch. Very near us. Remains 1-0. But the game's quite end-to-end, isn't it, Michael Coulson?
I think Luca fancies it tonight, doesn't he? Showed some lovely footwork there.
It's been a while since he got a brace in Scarborough Athletic colours as Clunan tries to work it in
Great
field.
Defending by Big Will there again.
Thornton. Brown, left back, down the line, but well covered that time by, on that occasion, Wilson. He's looking for a ball over the top. Bondo is judged to be offside by the fans. Linesman didn't put his flag up. Must have run in from behind as the ball is lifted back towards the box. Crane is going after Martin Woods' attempted through ball. And now cleared away. Bennett, centre circle, holding on to it. Through ball now by Colville, looking for Rio Allen, but Simone Trosso will give chase. Referee brings it back, however, for a free kick on halfway.
I think Luca actually made the wrong choice there. I think Waldron had made a great run. If he just looked to his left, he could have put him through, but we'll let him off one bad pass because he's had a great half. He
has had a good half indeed. And his involvement puts Scarborough at 1-0 up at the moment. Quick run through of what's happening in National League North. Telford lead 1-0 away at Fylde. It's Radcliffe who are winning away at Alfreton 2. Worksop 1-0 up at Bedford. It's 1-1 between Chorley and South Shields, and Curzon and Oxford City. Darlington 0, Buxton 0 is the latest score. Hereford 1, Leamington 1. Kidderminster lead 1-0 at home to Peterborough. Marine 1, Macclesfield 1. Merthyr 1, Chester 1. 1-0 here and 1-0 at Southport, who are at home to Spennymoor this evening. Waldron, centre circle then, ready to take the free kick, and he sends it long. Thornton gets a solid contact, but it's into the hands calmly of Aaron Chapman, who will try now and get them away quickly for Kings Lynn. That overarm ball, you can see it moving, slicing away through the wind. Very difficult conditions to contend with, as again they try and clear. When do you take the weather conditions away from being an excuse though, Michael Coulson, do you think?
Sometimes playing against the wind can actually help. we had it a lot at the Flamingo Stadium. It seemed to win every week, one of the years, and we sort of got used to it. And we was actually better playing against the wind, because when we were playing with it, the ball was just going so far, we couldn't even get onto it. So yeah, you sort of, it can help. It can actually help, but I think when the pitch is bobbly and you're trying to clear it, a lot of the clearances go straight up in the air and it just stops in the wind. So there is sort of quite a big excuse out there today.
And looking at how Waldron's setting up this free kick as well, everyone's spread out. We'll come back to, I guess, the passing style, because I imagine this is only going in one direction. It's going to be direct. Waldron sends it towards the right side of the box, headed centrally. Bennett gets a touch. Willeji trying to get onto it. Chapman, however, commands the 6-yard box well. Wouldn't have counted anyway, because the linesman's got his flag up on the far side. It's interesting how Scarborough have mixed and matched their passing play, because they have adopted that passing play as we're used to seeing, but also mixing it up with that direct, and that's good to see, I think, on conditions like tonight.
I think you need to make sure you're not predictable, and they certainly are predictable. They are mixing up. For Luca and Alex Brown are playing some nice little passes, but when it needs to go long, it goes long, and it's not just kicking it long, it's putting it into areas, and when they do that, they've got Wilesy, Tia and Waldron actually getting onto the second balls, which is key.
You're listening to BBC Radio York. About 5 minutes of normal time. Scarborough lead by a 1-0 in the first half. We'll then have Pete Spencer taking you through half time, so get you some messages in if how things are going so far. 81333 and 08000 on WhatsApp, and start your messages with the word York. Crane goes down under little pressure, but he's got the ball back after Scarborough wanted to scramble it away.
Oh my,
and
not even
still
gone out.
It stays in play on this corner flag side. Colville cannons it against, that time it was Doherty bursting forward and out for a throw-in on the far side. Just a showing there that Colville, even though he's worked his magic in an attacking sense, he and Brown are combining well in defence as well on this left side.
You won't find a better left side in the league, in my opinion. Two players who have got a bit of everything going forward defensively, energy, fitness. Two really key players for Scarborough.
How much are you keeping an eye on the National League North, obviously in your position, obviously as a player, but also as player manager, because you would have had to bring some players on loan, I would suspect. So as Duckworth intercepts and maybe tries to get Scarborough away, it's a little bit of a long ball. But yeah, in terms of you studying the National League North for what you do at the moment, Michael?
Yeah, I'm always having a look at team news and certain things, and a lot of the players who are still playing at this level I've played against, so I sort of know most of the teams anyway. So I do actually take quite a big interest in it, and obviously following Scarborough, I'm always checking their teams and the news who they're playing against and stuff. So yeah.
Well, they've gone route one as Rio Allen gives chase towards the byline, but just totters over and out of play that time for I think it was going to be a goal kick. Yes, it is, as Chapman puts his hand down on the ball. Give us an insight then, if you could. Rio Allen came from the 9th tier and is now knocking on the door of double figures in the 6th tier. How big a feat and an achievement is that, do you think, in a first season?
I think it's a really big achievement, because the step up is probably a lot higher than what people can imagine. I'm sort of playing at the level just above that at the moment, and the step up from that level to this level is high enough, so to come from a lower level to come to this is excellent. And it seems like he's fitted in. It's not an easy position to play out wide either. Sometimes you're not in the game as much as you'd like and you get a bit frustrated, but he's always going to be a threat. He's got great speed, good feet, and he's chipped in with some really important goals for Scarborough this year.
Could maybe see Redcar flying up the league soon. I saw their goal difference earlier on as well.
Yeah.
Plus 89?
Yeah, it's. I think they did us 4-0 here a couple of months ago. Yeah, very good team.
We'll soon be in the Northern Premier League, and who knows, maybe a division up sometime in the future, as Thornton resets the play for Scarborough Athletic. Colville goes to Wiles in field. He's tried to move it out wide towards Rio Allen. Just a little bit too much of lock on his ankle, I think, as he darted in field. Trying to try and get a bit of curve away as Waldron loses possession on the far side. Jaden Davis on halfway with a couple of touches and spins with his black boots on and feeds it into Michael Clunan, as a out and out playmaker. Michael Clunan hasn't really had the chance to have much joy. Ubazonu into the area, loses footing, gets back up and shoots, and that's into the hands comfortably though of Ryan Whitley, as Terry Bondo then tries to press him, but Whitley not having any of it, and now gets Scarborough moving the other way. Do you think tonight maybe Richie Bennett, he's going hunting for things, isn't he? But do you think maybe he individually would like to see a bit more of the ball now, given Strikers Alliance and all that?
I think it'll probably suit him a little bit more second half, to be honest, because when the ball's coming up this half, it's travelling so far, it's hard, but second half it'll hold up, so he'll be able to come onto it a little bit more and use his strength. So I think it actually might help him more second half.
Here comes Trosser for Kings Lynn down the left hand side. Davis to his outside as he moves up parallel to the penalty area, tries to flick it in field, and reading that very well indeed was Alex Wiles, who trots a good 30 yards forward, then loses possession, maybe just went a little too far without leaving the ball. It was on who was onside as Scarborough Athletic managed to snuff out the attempted through ball. Waldron now looking to feed it in behind for Rio Allen. Bit of pace and opportunity to run into the area. He's got Dickens going with him. He covers the attempted cross and out of play for a corner kick.
A goal now would be lovely for Scarborough. I called it on the first one, so let's see if I can call it again here.
Weave your magic then. How's it going to happen, do you think?
I'll go Keys sniffing around the goalkeeper. Little tapping.
Okie dokie. Where is he? He's wandering into the penalty area now. Thornton going forward. Just a one goal so far this season. He went on a bit of a hot streak from set pieces last year around this time. Let's see what happens here. Wiles waits on the edge of the area. Waldron and Brown are covering in case of a potential breakaway. Davis has stayed forward for Kings Lynn. Everyone else in the area. Wileji on the goalkeeper, delivered in, and it's a little bit tame, and it will be partially cleared. Waldron recycles back out to Colville, delivered with a bit more height this time. Header by Bondo. It comes to Wiles. Now Duckworth. Duckworth trying to find room to have a go. No. He goes over in the area. Ball was stuck at his feet. Thornton now trying to move it into space. Waldron has a crack, and then Colville lets it run out of play for a throw-in. Good defending there from Kings Lynn.
Really good. I think it's crucial for Kings Lynn to not concede another goal just before half time now, to give them an opportunity in the second half.
Just the 1 minute of added time to be played. At the minute, 1-0 Scarborough Athletic. Can they find the net again before the break? Waldron throws it in towards the front of the penalty area. Back out to him from Kings Lynn. Delivered. It could be over Chapman. Bennett tried to land on it.
I think he's given a foul, hasn't he?
Yeah. For a bit of maybe Bennett there on Chapman, the decision. Maybe
it's a tough one.
Into him.
As a manager, you always tell your strikers, put a bit on the keepers, but then you get told off for fouling them, so you can never win really. But probably not a bad foul to give away by Bennett. I
daren't ask you about if you feel goalkeepers have too much protection given you're a striker. I think you're coming in from maybe a biased position there.
Absolutely, yeah, they definitely do. It's difficult because we've had a couple this year where our keepers have sort of dropped it and they haven't give fouls, which although we've conceded, I've been quite happy because I think they get too much protection.
Well, half-time whistle sounds, and it's all good news here for Scarborough Athletic after 45 minutes. Luca Colville, direct from a free kick out wide. It deceived everybody, flew past Aaron Chapman into the net after 28 minutes. They've used the conditions well in this first 45 minutes, and more of the same, I feel, in the second half would be most welcome, Michael Coulson.
Yeah, fair play, they're 1-0 up. They're probably walking in now thinking, they'd like to another goal, but at the end of the day, they're winning the game. It still might suit them second half against the win, but it's going to be a tough battle now, and hopefully they can keep it going.
Quite a few teams around them are leading at the break. Kidderminster, Telford and Radcliffe are, but those outside the playoffs aren't winning at the moment. But who knows what happens in the next 45 minutes, including here, as I see Paul Caddis having a word with Terry Bondo as they make their way off the field. Half-time then at Queensgate. Scarborough Athletic lead Kings Lynn Town by a goal to nil.
Weekday afternoons from 2
with Toby Foster.
I tell you, who definitely won't have a soup maker. I guarantee he hasn't got a soup maker.
Ew.
Paul Hudson.
Toby Foster, I have.
You are, Johnny.
They're fantastic.
Oh.
You fill it with some chopped carrots or whatever, fill it with water, 25 minutes, voila.
Whereas I'm going to make one by myself in a pan, and it will be just as good.
Well, it won't, because it'll take you about 2.5 hours.
It doesn't. It takes about 20 minutes.
2 hours to make soup.
20 minutes, my eye.
Weekday afternoons from 2.
Toby Foster.
BBC Radio York.
Every game live and getting you closer to your club.
BBC Radio York Sport.
BBC Radio York Sport, Pete Spencer taking you through half-time. Second half commentary to come of Scarborough Athletic against Kings Lynn Town in the National League North with James Fletcher and former Borough striker Michael Coulson. But at the break, it's Scarborough Athletic who lead by a goal to nil. Luca Colville's fantastically whipped free kick with a bit of assistance from the wind, giving the Sea Dogs the lead at the break after 27 minutes. Let's run you through some of the other scores elsewhere, starting with the Champions League, and Arne Slot's 100th game in charge of Liverpool ended in defeat as Galatasaray established a narrow 1-0 lead in their last 16 Champions League match, and they will of course play the second leg next week at Anfield. In the 8 o'clock kickoffs then, it is currently Atalanta 0, Bayern Munich 3, Atletico Madrid 4, Tottenham Hotspur 1. So Tottenham not able to leave their Premier League woes behind them, and it's transferred over into the Champions League. Not a great first leg for Spurs in that one. Currently goalless at the moment at St James's Park between Newcastle United and Barcelona. In the Championship then at half-time, Leicester City 2, Bristol City 0, Millwall 1, Derby County 0 is currently still playing at the end of the first half. Portsmouth 0, Swansea City 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Watford 0, Wrexham 0, Hull City 1, and Stoke City 0, Ipswich Town 0 is a 8 o'clock kickoff. In League One then at half-time, Barnsley 1, Cardiff City 1, Doncaster Rovers 0, Luton Town 1, Exeter City 0, Lincoln City 1, Mansfield Town 0, Reading 0, Stevenage 1, Leyton Orient 1, and Wigan Athletic 0, Plymouth Argyle 2. A smattering of games in League 2 this evening, but a big one at the bottom of the table, and it's Barrow 0, Bristol Rovers 1. So that at the moment means that Harrogate Town are still 1 point from safety at the bottom of League 2, and Barrow just getting dragged back into things at the moment. Fleetwood 2, Cheltenham Town 0. Cheltenham Town also down there in and around the relegation places. Gillingham 0, MK Dons 3. Of course, MK Dons were 4-1 winners over Harrogate Town on Saturday, and their next opponent on Saturday is Salford City. So it's currently Salford City 0, Warsaw 0 in that one. Games tonight in the National League as well. Of course, York City and Rochdale not in action this evening, but it is half-time between Aldershot Town and Carlisle United. Carlisle currently 2-0 up in that one. Eastleigh 1, Brackley Town 1, Scunthorpe United 0, Sutton United 0. Southend United 1, Gateshead 1, Wildston 2, Tamworth 2, and Woking 0, Borehamwood 1. That is a 8 o'clock kickoff in that one between Woking and Borehamwood. Borehamwood have also had a man sent off in that one. Let's run you through the scores then in the National League North just to round things up. Alfreton Town 0, Radcliffe 1, Bedford 0, Worksop Town 1, Chorley 1, South Shields 1, Curzon Ashton 1, Oxford City 2, Darlington 0, Buxton 0, AFC Fylde 0, AFC Telford United 1, Hereford 2, Leamington 1 in a battle at the bottom of the table. Kidderminster Harriers 2, Peterborough Sports 0, Marine 1, Macclesfield 1, Merthyr Town 1, Chester 1, Southport 1, Spennymoor 0. And currently at the moment our featured game here on FM, on DAB and online via the BBC Sport website and app. Scarborough Athletic 1, Kings Lynn Town 2. Two games currently happening this evening further down the footballing pyramid in the Northern Counties East League Division 1. Latest scores there, Harrogate Railway 0, Wakefield 0 in that match between 4th and 2nd in Division 1. Selby Town also at home. They're 1-0 up currently against Crowell Colts. Harry Clapham with the goal in that one. So we'll keep an eye across all of the games and the fixtures here on BBC Radio York. We're on air this evening until 10 o'clock, so we will do our best to bring you live reaction from the Scarborough Athletic manager Jonathan Greening before we go off air at 10 o'clock. If we can't do that for you, it will be available via the BBC Sounds Scarborough Athletic page. Just download the BBC Sounds app, search for Scarborough Athletic, and you will never miss an interview. Let's hear though from a Scarborough Athletic supporter who's travelled, I guess, further than a lot of the supporters this evening who have made the short journey just down the road from Scarborough to Bridlington, and I doubt many of them have had to hop on a plane to follow their team. Our next guest, David Lee, has travelled all the way from Hong Kong to be here this evening at Queensgate Stadium. He's been speaking to James Fletcher outside the town bar end.
Joined at Queensgate by David. David, just for the listeners, just tell us how far you've travelled to come to tonight's match.
Yeah, I'm from Hong Kong and travel. Yeah, travel from Hong Kong to watch Scarborough Athletic play. Yeah.
But why Scarborough Athletic? How did you get involved? Are you from here originally, or have you always been in Hong Kong? Just tell us how you came to know Scarborough Athletic.
I'm from Hong Kong. I play football for about 30 years on Sunday league levels on a defender as a defender. But my knee is not doing well recently, so I still want to play, and I decided to go in goal to be a goalkeeper, and I tried to find the goalkeeper shirt on the internet, and the Scarborough Athletic shirt last season Scarborough Athletic shirt is on sale, good price, and I got the green one, the green shirt, and then the away shorts, and then I play a game. I make my debut in a futsal game. I kept a clean sheet and make a few good saves. And then on Instagram, I tagged Scarborough Athletic, and then they retag me, and they say, I'm represent the Sea Dogs in Hong Kong, and so it was started.
That's excellent. And it's just amazing, isn't it, how one simple shirt, just one simple purchase, and now you've got this love affair with the football club. So just tell us how it's come about and how long you've had to wait to come over to the UK to come and watch Scarborough Athletic.
The journey from I fly to Zurich, about 12 hours, and then Zurich to Heathrow, it's another 2 hours, and then actually I stay in Norwich, and then I come from Norwich to Scarborough in another 4 hours, I think. Yeah,
you might as well have travelled with Kings Lynn, because I think they're only about 30 miles down the road. But how well you're obviously connected with the football club, but how much football do you watch or listen of Scarborough Athletic when you're over in Hong Kong?
I listen to live commentary. I think it's not from BBC, from other station.
You're forgiven, don't worry.
I listen to the game. I listen to the game, and it's good. Yeah, it's good.
And you're taking in what is the second home of Scarborough Athletic, Queensgate. How does it feel, first of all, to actually be here and watching the football team that have adopted you, but you've adopted as well?
Yeah, right. It's a good experience, and it's the first time for me to watch the National League North level. Yeah, it will be good. Yeah.
Yep. You're here for Telford as well, so what more do you want to get out of your visit of the UK, apart from obviously seeing Scarborough Athletic try and win tonight?
Yeah, I see on the Instagram we have 10 matches left, and we are in a good position, and we just need to maintain it and stay in the playoffs, and hopefully we at the 2 games I'm here, hopefully we win both.
You travelled with the Valley Bar Sea Dogs. Just how friendly and welcoming have they been as well for you, and obviously helping you here and helping you get around?
Wow, because I arrived maybe 15 minutes earlier, and then I look lost, and then somebody's on the other side of the station, and then they see me and they say, hey, come on, let's cross the other way to wait for the for the bus. And I met a Scarborough football, a Scarborough FC players, Steve French, I think.
Yep, former player.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah,
he's travelled down tonight, and he was with you. That's seeing a picture here of before you getting on the bus to come to tonight's game.
Yeah, try to Google him to find the pictures.
Yeah, in very short shorts, I have to say, that trendy at the time. Regarding what you've seen of Scarborough, do you think they're going to do it? Do you think they're going to get promoted?
Yes, I think it's difficult because Scarborough is still not full time, but many full time club playing in National League North. But I think we can do it. Yeah.
And we wish you all the luck as well, and enjoy your time here, and obviously welcome to Yorkshire, and enjoy your time here whilst watching Scarborough Athletic.
Thank you very much.
That is David Lee, who's travelled a bit farther than most this evening, coming all the way from Hong Kong to watch his beloved Scarborough Athletic this evening, and making the long journey to be here. He's here for a couple of games, I think, taking in the next game is things stand as well. But it was a big day in horse racing. Today was the opening day of the Cheltenham Festival. The favourite, Lossiemouth, won the champion hurdle. The grey mare never looked in any sort of trouble ahead of a 6.5 length defeat of Brighter Days Ahead, as the New Line also came home in third with more. Here's our racing commentator, John Hunt.
Yes, we come to Cheltenham to hope and keep our fingers crossed that we'll see the elite perform at their highest level, and we certainly saw that in the champion hurdle this afternoon when Lossiemouth, the warm favourite, stormed up the Cheltenham Hill to put 6.5 lengths between herself and her rivals to confirm herself as the best hurdler around. It capped a pretty good day for trainer Willie Mullins and jockey Paul Townend. Mullins earlier won the Arkle Chase with Carghazi, although Irish train runners haven't had things all of their own way. The other major race of the day, the opening Supreme Novices Hurdle, was won by Old Park Star, trained here in Britain by Nicky Henderson and ridden by Nico de Bonville.
Well, the 7-5 favourite is trained by Willie Mullins and is now a perfect 4 from 4 at Cheltenham Festival. He's also the choice, as you heard there, of the stable jockey Paul Townend. Willie Mullins has been speaking to the BBC's Rob Notham.
You know, she has that mare's dam side pedigree which gives her that bit of speed, and the cheek pieces, I think, just made a huge difference. It made her concentrate that bit more. And you know, as horses get older, they probably, like the rest of us, we start looking for ways out of doing hard work, and this really invigorated her. And when I saw her working in them the other morning, and when we pulled up, Paul pulled up, and you know, I spoke to him, and we both of us had the same feeling that this was the way to go. And then the race looked so open, we thought, well, why not? Let's go for it.
And as the race unfolded, you can't have had too many anxious moments.
Well, you know, we're all anxious until the third last, and then I saw her hitting the third last right. You know, I mean, she met it right, and I looked back at JP's colours, and I thought, right, he's starting to come under pressure. And I thought when he was coming under pressure, I thought, you know, he was the one I was worried about. I thought we should have the measure of the rest of them.
Well, many congratulations. Another champion hurdle. Well done, Willie.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That is trainer Willie Mullins speaking to the BBC's Rob Nothman after his horse Lossiemouth won the champion hurdle on the opening day of the Cheltenham Festival. And away to our left-hand side, the Scarborough Athletic players just making their way out of the tunnel here at Queensgate Stadium. Time for second half commentary of Scarborough Athletic against Kings Lynn Town. We'll hand you back to your commentary team of the former Scarborough striker Michael Coulson. But first, your commentator James Fletcher.
First port of call is apologise to Michael for not putting his lid on properly on his tea. As certainly not
tactical. Was that tactical?
It wasn't. I mean, there are examples of being tactically, you know, clever, but I'll get the laundry bill. Don't you worry. As Pete mentions, the Scarborough players have made their way back out, still waiting for Kings Lynn. Doesn't look like there's going to be any changes as the floodlights on the rugby stand side of the ground from their training now are switched off.
That scared me then. I thought someone had gone out. Honestly, it's really dark without them on.
You think the Undertaker was coming for a moment then? WWE. Kings Lynn making their way out, and it looks as like they're going to be unchanged as well for this second period. So at the moment, Michael Coulson 1-0 to the good and very little to complain about. But again, I'll rephrase it. Got to make sure they look after themselves regarding the elements. But as you mentioned, in the first 45 minutes, it could actually play to their advantage with Richie Bennett up front.
Yeah, I just think it's a really, really big 10 minutes now straight after half time, because Kings Lynn will think they've done half a good job in the first half. You know, so they'll be coming out thinking they've got a really good opportunity, so Scarborough can sort of nullify them early on and maybe nick a goal. It'll make life really difficult for them. So it's going to be a big 10 minutes.
Well, I'll run through the 11 for you that are out there for Scarborough Athletic at the start of this second half. Whitley in goal, the defence of Duckworth, Willegy, Thornton and Brown. Wiles has got through 45 minutes so far, with Waldron and Tier in midfield. Two changes tonight from the Oxford City win. No Stephen Walker and no Harry Green for those joining us late and wondering why their names weren't being mentioned very often in the first half. Richie Bennett is up front, Luca Colville is out wide, his 28th minute free kick the difference, and Rio Allen plays on the right. So about ready to get things underway as Dave Jones checks with both goalkeepers. as Scarborough Athletic will attack towards the open end. I suppose as a Bridlington Town player, you're very well suited to possibly give that stand a name, if you like, Mike. What do Bridlington Town refer to it as? Because we haven't really been able to coin a name for it.
I don't actually know, to be honest. Sorry about that.
At the Sports Village, we've got the swimming pool end, and me and Neil Redfern have christened the other end the donkey end because of the stables behind the terrace.
Yeah, I don't mind that name. Yeah,
we'll have to come up with something. There's just no real features to it, is there?
No.
And normally, can't even call it an away end, really, can we? Because fans like to move about, no segregation. So the open end
is what
it'll stay. The North Sea end, if the wind is blowing in the right direction, could probably land you an overhit free kick on the ships. As we are back underway, and Trosser from left back lifts the ball forward, looking for Ubazonu, but behind and into the hands of Ryan Whitley without really too much danger. They've got Chapman in goal, Kings Lynn tonight, a back line of Dickens, Wilson, Doherty and Trosser. 40-year-old Martin Woods in midfield with Clunan, and then further afield Bondo, Davis, Ubazonu up front and Crane out on the right wing. As the ball again flies out for a goal kick as Kings Lynn try to play in behind. And at the moment, 1-0 the scoreline, Scarborough Athletic.
Yeah, I think Will and Kieran Willedge will have a lot of that to do second half, shepherding the ball through and shielding it out, because you said about you see straight away the first ball in behind has travelled a lot further than what it did first half. So yeah, big half for them too, especially.
I would imagine as well, if the ball is going to fly in behind, even though Thornton has repelled pretty much everything in the first half, Willedge you would expect to have the legs to just run in and sweep up if absolutely necessary.
Yeah, it's a good partnership. You said they've got a bit of all sorts between them, strength, speed. So yeah, I think it works well.
Be a free kick for Kings Lynn, just a little nudge on Wilson in the middle of the Kings Lynn half as we are a couple of minutes into the second 45. Not many scores going the way of Scarborough Athletic in the first half, but they've got to concentrate on themselves, and they lead by a goal to nil, as I mentioned, through Luca Colville in the 28th minute. As Chapman now blasts the ball forward from one goalkeeper to another. I have to say, as Whitley collects the ball at the second attempt, he went to clutch it like a fullback taking the knee on the 18-yard line, just let it spill. I think he's a little fortunate that nobody in a blue shirt was running in, as ball finds its way to Bennett, who tries to flick it in behind for Waldron. That was off a misplaced header by Kings Lynn towards the left back area. It will be Dickens who clears the ball into Waldron, and Waldron has a little look back at Wilson and just wonders what's he talking about, given he let out a big yelp and a big appeal from the linesman for the throw-in when he didn't really need to, which was quite comical. Kings Lynn are buying a few yards, according to the Scarborough fans, but Wiles gets the first contact as it was thrown down the left-hand side. Then Tier comes in to win it back for those in blue, in red. Duckworth, halfway line, plays it in field to Wiles. Now for Tier. Back to Willedge, lifts one through the air for Bennett to try and run onto. Good header by Dickens. And then Woods, Colville, finally brought to ground by Tier. Centre circle, loses footing, and it will be a free kick. There was a little bit of contact on Tier as, by the looks of things, Clunan, as Clunan does, he is a little bit of a wind-up merchant in the midfield, and he likes to try and help players back to their feet to stop them milking the moment.
Yeah, he's a good player. Clunan had a few battles against him over the years. He's, for this level, he's a very good player. I was actually surprised to see him go back to Kings Lynn, to be honest. So, he's probably not his sort of game this tonight, but he's still effective in that position.
Yeah, normally he likes to maybe play the game in his slippers, if you like, and not really move from the centre circle, but hasn't really had the opportunity. Chirpy is another way I've described Michael Cluno, and you would have had that first hand.
Yes, he's like you said, I think you said wind-up merchant, but yeah, you don't mind it. You get to know certain players and how they play, and after the game he's always spot on.
Bondo inside his own area.
Yeah, he bought that.
He went down under very little pressure from Alex Wiles, and as you say, Michael Coulson, I think he knew that was coming and took the bait.
Yeah, you can call it clever, can't you? I think getting out of a tricky situation there, quite good. The ref's always going to give a free kick no matter what, because that's what they do.
On our side of the fence in that moment, annoyed that he went down soft. If it was the other way around, genius.
Yeah.
As the ball flies out of play as Michael Coulson's still getting midway through this second half. You get a lot of love and admiration from the fans, Mr. Coulson, as you would expect for your service for the club, as Clunan tries to lift the ball forward. Tier trying to head it into the path of Colville, and he does get the ball and pirouettes nicely in the middle of his own half and sends it out wide towards Alex Brown. He's been a joy to behold so far, Luca Colville, and unsurprisingly has his name on the score sheet, and you were singing his praises in the first half.
Yeah, I just think on a difficult surface, you know, he still looks so comfortable. You know, he never looks under pressure. He makes the right decisions, and you know, I miss playing with Luca. I miss playing with him. He probably set half my goals up in my career, so
text John, he might have you back.
No, I'm too old for that now. But you did just say Michael Woods was 40, which I can't actually believe. So
age is just a number.
Yeah.
40 years old. Yep, made his debut for Hartlepool back in 2004.
Wow.
This is his 16th club, and he faced Jonathan Greening back in the Championship when he was at Doncaster Rovers.
I actually, going off subject, when I was manager of Brid a few weeks ago, I actually spoke to him because we got a player on loan from Doncaster, and I'm pretty sure he's their youth team loans guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That was something I found fascinating when I started covering Scarborough a couple of years ago, of how many players will actually be in like academies and development sides of the professional game, and whether they're a physio or a coach. Alex Pear, for example, under 18s assistant manager as well.
Yeah, Alex Brownie's at Chef Wednesday. I think he's at Chesterfield now. So yeah, it's a great job to have, no matter what level. You know, you're in sport and you love football, so yeah, you can't really call it work, can you?
No, either it's a hobby for us as well, getting lucky enough to travel the country. As we see Davis in possession for Kings Lynn, 30 yards from goal. He will move the ball now into the path of Trosser. Trosser will be held up by Rio Allen, who's tucked in to help out his defender, but now away by Davis, and he stands up a ball. It's over Ubers on his head, chance, and into the net, but he is offside. Well spotted, Michael Coulson, as Kings Lynn slotted it in from 3 yards. The linesman's flag comes to the rescue. It remains 1-0.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, isn't it, from here, but a little let off there for Scarborough. Kings Lynn showed good play down on the left hand side and put a great ball across, to be fair to the lads, so yeah, a little let off there.
Well, Kings Lynn, 4 players in blue shirts around Dave Jones, appealing the decision. Both the strikers, Davis, who set the ball in, and Michael Clunan. And normally that is a telltale sign, isn't it? Because I think, and obviously as a player, Michael, you'll know this, like how many players does he normally, is it like a barometer of how many players go around a referee?
You're supposed to only have the captain now. If anyone else says anything, it's meant to be a booking, but I think if that was the case, you'd end up booking half the team all the time, so
you know you're never getting a penalty though if it's only you appealing for it, for example. As Kings Lynn lift the ball into the air. Round halfway, brought down by Wiles. Waldron is tackled by Clunan, and it pops nicely to Davis. Tries to play a through ball for Bondo. Willeji is goal side of his man on this right back position and clears down the line. Rio Allen kept it in, and it should be a Scarborough throw-in, but the linesman puts his flag up the other way after a lot of deliberation, and they feel they're the officials that it brushed a red shirt.
Looks like none of them wanted to make a decision there. They were both looking at each other, and finally he put his flag up Kings Lynn way.
Well, I think the linesman there, from his body language, has actually admitted to Richie Bennett he wasn't sure, and neither was the referee. But for us here in the commentary box, even if it was the wrong decision, if you don't know, surely the flight of the ball would dictate, because there wasn't a wicked deflection of any sort, was there?
And realistically, if you don't know, you probably should go with a defensive side, which would have been Scarborough. So
Ubazonu into the penalty area, takes a shot on from the left side, which is easily gathered by Ryan Whitley. It remains 1-0 here in this match between Scarborough and Kings Lynn. 52 minutes played. There's been a couple more goals in the division elsewhere. We'll run through those shortly as Allen looks to find Waldron. Decent touch as he just drifts away from the area on the right hand side. He then tries to slot one through, but it's broken up by Kings Lynn. Now Davis tries to clear down the left wing.
Great energy by Waldron there. He's give the ball. He's making a forward run. Next minute he's defending. You know, fantastic energy by the little lad there in centre mid.
He said his famous line in the reverse fixture, I remember speaking to him afterwards, because he'd only just recently come back on loan, and he said the phrase, I would always play for Scarborough even if Barcelona came in for me.
Yeah, well, sometimes you fall in love with a club, don't you? And he obviously loves it here, which is good.
Another throw.
But I don't believe him on that one though.
It might be the little deal that he's got going on with one of the ice cream parlours.
It's the best one in the town, yeah. Well, I don't know if I can say that on radio, but yeah.
We just have to then caveat that by saying that other establishments are available.
The Holy Cow, yeah, it's a good spot.
Well, give it some time. He'll be serving you them as Kings Lynn take a shot from quite a way out, 35 yards. It's a wild and wicket effort from Ross Crane, and that flies away for a goal kick. I'll just quickly bring up to speed with goals elsewhere, because Telford have been pegged back against Fylde, so it's 1-1 in Lancashire. It is Buxton leading now against Darlington as well by 1-0. So those two scorelines very handy for Scarborough Athletic elsewhere. That would actually put, as things stand, but obviously a lot of time to go, Scarborough would be 4 points safe in the playoff places, as things stand. But we've still got well over 35 minutes of football to be played here and elsewhere. And Luca Colville's 28th minute goal is the difference at the moment. And also recently going past 200 appearances. As the ball is back in motion, Whitley clearing forward, Davis getting a little tackle in, and Waleji will clear the ball for a throw-in, but they are just having a little bit of a moment or two with the conditions, especially when clearing the ball away, Scarborough.
Yeah, they're getting, Kings Lynn are sort of getting on top now of the game, like I expected really, but I think Scarborough standing strong. Keezer and Willer are doing a fantastic job at the back, dealing with the pressure.
So throw-in down the line by Kings Lynn, then Ubazonu chests it back to Davis. They go from left to right. It'll be Doherty who's going to make an inverted run from full-back, but now another shot comes in, this time from Crane, and I mean that one went higher and wider than the first one, and that might have even hit my car in the car park, and that's behind the main stand.
Yeah, if I was him I'd be looking down at the pitch, putting my foot on a bobble or something with that one, but he's a threat actually. He's a threat. He looks a good player, he's sharp, come inside a couple of times. You're not going to have a go at anyone for shooting, but sometimes you've got to be realistic with the pitch and the ball bobbling. It's not the right option to do from that far out.
He has had a decent season, 6 goals and 4 assists. It's most prolific season for goals and contributions. The former Ipswich Town Academy man.
Yeah, I like him. I think he's good, sharp.
Gloves in March, your assessment of that?
I'd never wear gloves really, but I'm not. Whatever people want to do, it's them, isn't it? It's up to them, but no, not for me.
Alan's got his on as well tonight, so Tia wins the ball back for Scarborough Athletic, and close thigh control plays it towards Luca Colville, and now for Alex Brown, over advancing forward from left back to Colville, under pressure from his marker, ball breaks loose, Brown collects, standing
so
strong
difficult.
as Colville.
It's so difficult for them out there.
Well, the ball flying about all over the place as Duckworth now takes charge. There hasn't really been a man on the pitch tonight, has there, who's really just settled everything down at their pace. It's been dictated by the weather and the pitch of the ball as well. Colville has probably made it look like he's been in control of it most of all. But
it's been difficult for the players in centre midfield, especially when you're getting the ball back to goal like Luca did there. You're trying to control it, but there's someone behind you. It's difficult.
Here comes Ubazonu, but he's immediately stopped by Will Thornton, who just... It almost looks effortless the way he clears the ball for a front, because he doesn't really put any backlift into actually putting the tackle in.
I think Big Will's been superb tonight, to be honest. Probably got turned once in the first half here, but apart from that, been spot on against 2 tricky opponents.
I'll let you have a think about this, we'll come back to it, but I'll ask you, in terms of you being here in the commentary box, we'll ask about maybe how much it appears they've developed since. But here comes Trosser to Davis into the area on the left hand side. Little low ball in where Leggy does what he needs to do and clears away. It wasn't pretty, but it found its way to Waldron midpoint of his own half. Allen collects, puts his foot on the ball and now plays back to Duckworth. He's going to clear forward, and Tia,
good
decent touch, and he gets away from Woods. He's got Bennett to his right, finds him, 2 around him in blue. Allen is a supporting role, running in towards the area 20 yards out, gets tripped, and that's a free kick in Luca Colville territory.
Where's Louis Maloney when you need him?
Well, got Colville case in point this evening, but this is a great shooting opportunity. 1-0 Scarborough Athletic lead.
Rio Allen looks like he's taking charge of this one. I don't know if Luke will be too pleased with that.
Rio Allen is definitely a player week in, week out who looks like for example, if he goes down in the penalty area, he's going to pick the ball up and say, I won it, I'll have it.
Yeah.
That kind of attitude. And he is sizing this up.
Yeah, I think he's
Colville's
called rank
away.
on this one.
Colville's just having a little word with Michael Duckworth. And even at Queensgate, he's still putting his hand over his mouth. No television cameras here tonight, Luca.
I think it'd be a good idea to get a right footer over the ball. I think that's why they're saying that to Ducky, because it's hard to tell with the wall here, but it looks like there's a bit of a gap for the right footer around the wall.
Allen is going to leave it. Here comes Duckworth. And he has hit it over the bar.
I can see why he did that, though. I think it was a sensible decision. There's a big gap there, but it just didn't quite get the execution right.
He's still awaiting his first Scarborough Athletic goal. He's gone 3 years without.
He's done well to get on a free kick then, hasn't he, without a goal in 3 years?
That's why I was really surprised there that he actually stepped forward, because I think that's the first free kick I've ever seen him take, unless it's one just clearing the ball out of the penalty area. Perhaps someone else.
Yeah, he's making the most of Louis not being available, I think, there, isn't he? Absolutely. Even I struggled to get on him when Louis was playing.
We've played close to an hour. There's not a lot of activity from either bench at the moment. I think maybe for Kings Lynn it's a little bit more, because of the conditions, they are getting a bit more of the ball, so maybe Paul Caddis just wants to see a bit more of that attacking aspect and just see what they're outputting.
Good. Really
Bennett.
Good.
He looks to turn infield away from Waldron.
Soft that, but...
Yeah, Dickens judged to have pulled the shirt, so it's a free kick over on this right-hand touchline just past halfway.
Well, that's exactly what Scarborough need now. They need Bennett to buy free kicks, get over the ball, get him up the pitch, otherwise it's going to be a long 45 minutes. So yeah, he's done his job really well there for his team.
So even though he's a tall, imposing target man, he's got to be a little bit like Jack Grealish out wide.
Yeah, just buy some free kicks, give the defenders a breather, get them up the pitch. The defenders will be really happy with that. They'll be delighted anyway.
Yeah, Jonathan Greening mentioning post-Oxford that he feels that his team over the last couple of years have learnt more about the dark arts of football, which has maybe helped them this year. As Waldron delivers into the area, it lands on the 18-yard line but headed away. Ubazonu now back towards Clunan. Clunan now to Trosser, the young loanee from MK Dons. Clunan, he's looking back towards his defence. Bennett closes it down well, and he gets Scarborough maybe up the pitch a little bit as Trosser is trying to just buy a couple of yards forward and still walking forward in his silver boots, and still he tiptoes forward. Linesman did have a word but didn't pull him back. Didn't come to anything though, as Wiles collects on halfway to Bennett. He's hit it into space now for Colville. Brown making a dashing run down the left wing, and he's got Bondo in front of him. Can he work an opportunity to cross? That may have taken a deflection off the boot. The answer is no, however, and that's behind for a goal kick. So 1-0 Scarborough Athletic lead at this moment in time, past the hour mark. And maybe back to that point I made earlier, Michael, just about some of your old teammates and maybe how much they've blossomed or developed new traits that have really benefited them that you can see tonight.
Yeah, I think Will and Keezer especially, they've obviously worked really hard on themselves. They look a lot stronger, look more physical, and it's probably come from experience of playing at this level as well. They've had 3 or 4 seasons at it now, so you'd expect that from them, but them two especially look like they've come on leaps and bounds from when I've seen them previously.
Are you surprised that, okay, there are 1 or 2 individuals out there that you won't have played with, but are you surprised by how little this team has maybe changed? I mean, the spine has stayed the same, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think I touched on that before the game. I think that's why Scarborough have had so much success, because you're probably talking 3 or 4 players out there who are close to 200 games, which is unheard of in this day and age. But that helps keep that core spirit in, and the new players that come in, these older senior lads, make them feel welcome, and I think that's why Jono loves working with his squad, because it is a fantastic group.
Well, Will Thornton tonight moving up the pecking order in terms of appearances for Scarborough Athletic. He's actually now in the podium places of 3rd, as Kings Lynn have a throw-in just inside the Scarborough half. Thrown in towards Ubazonu. Davis then trying to get himself onto the successful flick on, but repelled by Scarborough and cleared away. Now Bennett and Dickens were at it. Bennett feels that he was having an arm into the back of his neck. Referee let it go, however. Long ball by Kings Lynn, and then after some deliberation, a free kick as Bondo went over 25 yards out to the left-hand side.
Yeah, I think Bennett can feel a bit unfortunate with that there. He looked like he'd sort of got the wrong side of him, and the defender certainly had his arm around his face, but the ball goes up the other end and Kings Lynn get a cheap free kick in a similar sort of position to where Lucas was in the first half, but on the other side.
And Clunan with his low socks, maybe first big opportunity for him to whip something into the penalty area of excitement for the Kings Lynn fans who are here tonight. Not many of them, as you would expect, given the distance. As the ball is
gone.
Well, it's whipped towards the right-hand side, and that time it was too much club rather than not needing. Maybe taking one off next time.
Yeah, I don't think he's took the wind into consideration there, Clunan. He's normally got good quality, so it's a surprise that, but it's a good let-off again for Scarborough. I'll take that all day long.
He struggled to get any whip on the ball, I noticed as well. It looked like it just flew in one direction from this vantage.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it had no movement in it whatsoever, did it? But Scarborough will be really happy with this 15 minutes. I think they've sort of consolidated the game, and still look a bit of a threat on the counter attack. So I think they'll be pleased.
Yeah, we're approaching the final quarter of the game. Scarborough Athletic 1, Kings Lynn Town 0. When will the belief maybe fade away from Kings Lynn as they try and find a way through? Whitley's been made to make one decent save tonight when Terry Bondo in the first half shot low from 10 yards. As down the right hand side, Carlton Ubazonu trying to do it all himself, runs out of room, and it will be a goal kick. There is going to be a change, I think, in a moment for Scarborough, possibly. Looks like there might be a bit of activity, unless it's just Michael Ingham and Jonathan Greening and Jimmy
Looks like
Beadle
Luca
as well.
might not be moving very well, to be honest.
Yeah, let's just have a little peer down. The referee's actually come over towards Richie Bennett, just looking for Luca Colville, and he just looks to be not walking as true as before, but maybe that might be from maybe a whack earlier on, hopefully, just maybe a dead leg. Can't have any more going down injured, as Ryan Whitley's placing the ball down, and both sets of players having a bit of a committee meeting with the referee Dave Jones, I think, because Whitley was struggling to get the ball to sit still on the white line.
Seems like the wind's really picked up even more now.
Yeah, that stopped dead in the air and landed 5 yards short of halfway. Did well to get as much purchase as he did, as a free kick now goes the way of Scarborough after Domtia went in and won the ball back.
They're doing really well, Scarborough, sort of breaking the game up, killing the game. They're working really hard off the ball, picking a lot of seconds up, and it's really giving them, it's sort of slowing the game down. You can see Clunan trying to get Kings Lynn speeding it up, but Scarborough doing a good job.
Darlington now 2-0 down at home to Buxton, a latest scoreline, and also Macclesfield now lead against Marine by 2-1 as we watch Whitley clearing the ball away. The next few fixtures will shape the league significantly across the National League North, as Telford come here on Saturday. It's a massive occasion as Allen on this touchline on the right feeds it through towards Waldron. They combine again. Ball was maybe just a little bit behind his stride, but Allen goes down the line, and a corner is the decision, as Trosser seemed a little bit aggrieved by that, but Colville will now jog over to try and whip in something to give Scarborough Athletic a little bit of distance on the scoreboard.
Something's going on there with Bennett in this penalty area, just been on the floor. Didn't quite see what happened, but
I think he was looking for something more than anything.
Yes, I think he's trying to be clever and use his experience there.
Wilson is one of those. He actually got sent off at Kings Lynn for play acting a second yellow card. Wasn't Dave Jones who sent him off, though, as now a lot of wrestling about in the 6-yard box, delivered in, headed down by Ubazonu. Takes a couple of more headers to get out of the area. Waldron tries to play it through, but that's cleared away. But Brown sweeping up at the back as the final line of defence in that outfield spectrum, then tries to play it wide to Colville, little too much on it, and it goes out for a throw-in. But Scarborough still leading by 1-0 here against Kings Lynn Town, and we've got probably somewhere just north of 20 minutes to go. And if he was Jonathan Greening now, substitution wise, there is Chapman there as an option, as also Aidan Sheehu as midfield options, but is there maybe a bit too much adrenaline and perhaps momentum in this Scarborough Athletic midfield to change anything at this
Yeah,
point?
I think sometimes you end up changing things just for the sake of it, but the lads look fresh, they're working hard. Deep down now, I don't think I'd be, maybe Rio Allen in a few 10 minutes or so, maybe get a bit of legs out wide again, but the rest I'd be keeping on. They're doing a fantastic job.
And they are closing in on what is going to be a very valuable 3 points in the race for the playoffs as things stand. But 20 minutes still to go. Scarborough lead by a goal to nil. A second one would be most kind to them and maybe just take a little bit of momentum out of the game as a free kick is given. Duckworth was caught and there's going to be a yellow card coming out, and that's for Terry Bonder, who left a foot in on Duckworth on this near side touchline, and I think maybe got a booking more for his verbal towards the referee rather than actually what he did with his feet.
Yeah, Ducky might just try and waste a few minutes as well here on the floor using his experience.
Terry Bonder had a bit of learn experience last year with Matlock, given his debut by Steve Bruce at Blackpool. There's Whitley taking his time to get the game back underway. Curzon 2, Oxford City 2, a latest scoreline elsewhere in the National League North. Telford still at 1-1 with Fylde. That'd be a very good point for them coming into Saturday if it stays the same. As Dickens
it's like a game of rugby out there at the moment.
Allen down the line towards Waldron and stopped in his tracks by Wilson, so that's going to be a throw-in. Bennett is drawing attention, isn't he?
Yeah, like I said, I think it's probably suited him a little bit second half with the ball holding up. He's proving a handful for their two defenders, and he's getting Scarborough up the pitch. Is exactly what they need from a big striker.
Chapman stands silently at the moment on his goal line as he watches those in blue. Every single one of them apart from Carlton Ubazonu back as it's thrown in by Waldron but headed out of the box towards Wiles. Right hand side, plays it back out towards the touchline. Waldron, decent looking delivery. Bennett's underneath it, gets his head to it, but it drifts wide of the target and it remains 1-0.
Great ball by Waldron there. Really good ball. I've been impressed with him tonight.
His energy as well has been... He's one of those players where start the season, you notice if you compare August to March, April time, you just see that he's got so much momentum with every game that he plays.
He's infectious, the energy breeds. What an header by Digwell. His energy he's a bit like Purves, he breathes. The other people feed off his energy, and he can play multiple positions, which is a big bonus as well.
And considering he's only 19 years of age when he first joined the club, still got a long way to go in his career. Right back last season, centre midfield most predominantly this, and who knows, maybe a third year we may see him in the red shirt of Scarborough Athletic. You seem to forget that he's only a loanee as the ball goes out of play on the far side. The fourth official is typing some numbers into his substitutes board because Kings Lynn are about to make wholesale changes in a few moments time. Ty Fleming, who is a fullback, is going to be making his way on. It's the first number that I've seen, wearing 15. Also on that far side, I think Jack Lambert is being readied, and possibly Adam Marriott as well. So we'll see the numbers go up in just a moment as we see Bennett try and slot a ball through, and that's going to run through towards Aaron Chapman.
They're having a right carry on.
Scarborough, as Bennett was actually wrestled off the ball there, and that was Dickens who is judged to have fouled him, and Kings Lynn are not happy about it at all because they feel that was just a coming together and both were at it.
Yeah, they've been having a bit of a do for the last 10-15 minutes there, and Bennett's been very, very clever, buying his team time again. Exactly what's needed.
Do you know any good restaurants that they can go to later on, do you think?
They'll be fine after the game, I'm sure.
Just checking the changes that are taking place now for Kings Lynn. The first pair of players that have made their way off are Martin Woods. His race is run. And Jaden Davis has also come off the field. And Terry Bonder now on a yellow card. He's also making way. And it looks as though on the far side, the experience of Adam Rooney might be entering the game. We'll check all those in a moment.
Is that the Jack Lambert who was at Darlington?
Jack Lambert, who was at Darlington, former Borough Academy man, and a former teammate of Stephen Walker, but he doesn't get to meet his acquaintance tonight.
He was a very, very good player back in the day.
Watch the free kick and come back to that. Delivered in. Willegi got a touch. It's still in there. Thornton helping it forwards. Pinball inside the box now. Thornton trying to make something of it. Ball has actually come out of the area on the right. Back towards Duckworth. Thornton is going to have to operate as a winger for a moment here as he stands on the ball, tries to feed it through, buys the throw in. But Scarborough are at the right end of the field and they're making Kings Lynn work here, Michael Coulson.
Yeah, that is where I want the ball. The longer it's down here, the better. And again, quite a good opportunity there. Good defending by Kings Lynn, to be honest.
Yeah, Jack Lambert, former Darlington. And what made him stand out then? When
I remember playing against him with Scarborough a few years ago, and he was the best player in the league. I think he might have moved to Kidderminster or somewhere like that.
He did.
Yeah, very good player.
Throw-in taken. Thornton will try and flick it forward, but cleared away, and Lambert is hot onto this. Waldron, though, and Wiles and Brown are all
Brilliant,
back on this left-hand side, and a free kick one in the right-back area as Wiles shields the ball, and Lambert just does a little too much.
I think when I've listened to Jono's interviews, he always goes on about such an honest group of players, and by watching the game tonight, you can see how much it means to them. You know, every one of them's working so hard, doing the ugly side of the game, and it's, you know, as a manager, must be a pleasure to see.
Lambert just pulling his socks back up. He was at Kidderminster. He's actually had 4 National League North clubs in 2 years, which is quite surprising. He just hasn't really been able to find a home in recent times. As you see Clunan try and get Kings Lynn moving up the pitch, and a through ball looking to find over on the
good defending that
near
really
touchline. Cleared away by Scarborough as the ball's worked back towards Trosso, and that's safely into the hands on that occasion of Ryan Whitley. So Ty Fleming has made his way on, so too has Jack Lambert. Kings Lynn the first to blink from the bench. Morgan Williams, the other player, making his way onto the field as he dropped out of the side for the victory against Marine tonight, as Wiles tries to take the ball now off Jack Lambert. Lambert drifting over to his left hand side, and Allen does well, watches him all the way and just gets a foot in. Doesn't seem to be too much activity from Scarborough's bench at this moment in time, but as you've already mentioned, Michael Coulson, the need for change is probably not paramount for Jonathan Greening at the moment, given how settled they look on the park.
Yeah, it can be a tricky game to come into this.
Lambert ball in,
well
and well diving down there is Ryan Whitley. He just suddenly pulled the trigger out of nowhere there, Jack Lambert, but Whitley does well.
Yeah, good hands. He's not had much to do with his second half, so yeah, really good hands there.
He's tried to clear the ball long.
Not so good kick though.
It's got a full 90-degree turn there in the air. I feel like if you was, I know I've used a couple of golf analogies tonight, but if you've got a natural slice, aim it a bit left.
I think when Witt's first came to Scarborough, he did struggle a bit with his kicking. It was probably his weakest part of his game, but from the games that I've seen this year, he's certainly improved drastically in that area, so he's obviously been working hard on that side of his game.
Yeah, Mike Ellingham mentioning that 12 months on from a game at Kidderminster where they lost by 3-0 and they could just never get out of the penalty area, and it was highlighted that Whitley's kicking that afternoon was very off. Either too powerful, too straight, unable to find the wingers, but he really has been, underappreciated, I feel, this season, I have to say.
Yeah, well, when I've been checking the social media on the games, there's been a lot of times where we've seen fantastic save by Whitley, so, they've got a keeper there who's a very good keeper for this level, and like you say, sometimes keepers are a little bit underappreciated.
Macclesfield still leading 2-1 at Marine, but Marine are now down to 10 men on Merseyside as Morgan Williams collects the ball. Allen fought for a moment there in right midfield, was potentially going to win it back. Kings Lynn now with Doherty, tucked in from right back, delivers a flat ball towards the box. A couple of ricochets, and Colville on defensive duty clears away down the left. Bennett will trot over towards the technical area, and the ball will
Done well, Luke,
go out
there.
of play. Would he be your man of the match tonight? Who do you think's leading the charge?
To be honest, I think, there's a few candidates there, but it was Lucas scored a goal and it's been good, but at the moment I'd say Big Will's been the best player on the pitch, to be honest. He's a difficult job up against the two strikers who've been sharp, but he's really dealt with him well.
I know you believe in your own ability as a centre forward, but you wouldn't want to run into him tonight, you would imagine.
No, I had the pleasure of playing against him when I went to Farsley, and it certainly weren't the easiest of games, but he's a big lad as well.
And Thornton is going to try and shield from Carlton. Ubazonu out of play for a goal kick. I have to say, Carlton Ubazonu, who's been at Scunthorpe United this year, I think that's quite an acquisition for Kings Lynn moving forward. Seems to be very handy at this level. Double figures for Chorley previously.
They've got a really good team to be on paper. They've got some excellent players for this level. I think the manager's obviously building a bit of a team now. I've got no doubt that they'll be safe this year with this sort of squad that they've got on paper.
Perhaps a bit of a broken jigsaw, and they just need piecing together.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of connectivity, and who knows, they could be back in the playoff hunt next year, but they've got to try and stay in the division first. But bearing in mind there has been a lot of things going on behind the scenes in Kings Lynn which has maybe overshadowed their actual footballing ability, as Lambert tries to send a long ball forward, and Kings Lynn aren't going away here as they now try and work the ball into the area on the right, but Brown intercepts and tries to bring the ball away. Bennett trying to win another free kick. Wiles, I beg your pardon. Bennett's further up the pitch, and once again Tia going over under a nibble from Lambert, but play on as Wiles moves it to Duckworth. He's trying to lift one in behind the back line as Kings Lynn, they're the ones now in a bit more of a higher block. They're back four station maybe 8 yards away from halfway most of the time as Clunan goes over in centre field, but there will be a free kick. I think the way of Scarborough Athletic, a man has gone down under the pressure for a head injury.
Yeah. I think Kings Lynn will be a little bit disappointed with the second half performance. I think they haven't really stuck it on Scarborough too much. It's been fairly comfortable. I don't think Whitley's had much to do at all, so I think fair play to Scarborough, but I think Kings Lynn will be a little bit disappointed.
10 minutes of normal time, just seeing the chairman Trevor Bull making his way past on the crutch after his operation. All well and good to see him back attending football matches again after a partial absence. It was Dom Tier who went over, by the way. He's just getting a drink and a bit of air in the lungs for Scarborough Athletic at the moment. The stadium announcer's just about to announce the man of the match, and great minds think alike as Will Thornton gets the fans' choice this evening.
Yeah, Luca might be a bit disappointed because normally they always go with a goal scorer, but sometimes you've got to look at the big picture and say Big Will's been superb, led by example tonight.
Scarborough Athletic leading by a 1-0 at this moment in time, doing what they need to do. A rundown of elsewhere. Fylde have just scored against Telford, so it's Fylde 2, Telford United 1. Big goal there. And we'll run through the rest in a moment as the ball flies forward. Aaron Chapman's got to watch this into his area as Waldron gives chase, and he does cover. He will try and clear long, maybe a bit too much height rather than a piercing kick away. Headed well by Thornton. Kings Lynn have the ball in the right midfield area. Down the line they try and play. Board's going up for the fourth official. There'll be a substitution in a moment, and it's going to be Kings Lynn who will make the fourth roll of the dice from the bench as Trosser has the ball at left back. He will just move across towards Morgan Williams, combining Doherty, who's moved into a bit more of a central midfield role as the game has gone on, even though he's more of a right back by trade, as Dickens has the ball now for Kings Lynn in the middle of his own half, playing to Wilson now trying to slide it forward up towards Ubazonu, tottering, but the ball goes back towards Clunan, trying to lift one to the right of the area. Kings Lynn bring it down, but coming across is Alex Wiles. Wiles moves the ball back towards Alex Brown, under pressure, clears away. Bennett will leap, managed to chest it in the centre circle, but the ball breaks loose, and now Dickens will come forward to Morgan Williams, centre of Scarborough's half. Waldron will pursue him, Williams tries to cross in. Simple header for Dom Tier in the D of the penalty area. And now a free kick. Goes the way of Kings Lynn. As Bennett just caught Michael Clunan 40 yards out and right in the centre.
I think Kings Lynn need to go a little bit more direct. I think that Scarborough are happy with him playing it around, playing it into strikers' feet. It's hard to deal with it. I think, they need to sort of change the game plan a little bit for the last few minutes.
Well, they've decided to go for Adam Marriott now as a right winger. Ross Crane making way. Scarborough still unmoved from the bench. Clunan over this. In this central area with the wind behind him in his favour, he's got to thread this delicately and perfectly.
It's a difficult position for a free kick, really, that.
He's ushering the players over to the right hand side, tries to get some whip to the ball.
Horrendous.
And, well, I think the fullback of Kings Lynn over on the far side sort of looked back at him and basically said, "What do you want me to do with that?" as he tried to flick it towards goal. But
I think Scarborough will be delighted with that, to be honest. It is a difficult position to have a free kick from when it's so central, but I think realistically trying at the penalty spot, get the keeper in no man's land, any sort of touch can go anywhere. When you kick it that wide, you've got no chance of scoring a goal.
Macclesfield now lead by 3-1 as they move into the playoff places with Scarborough. We'll run through how the table looks in a moment as Waldron, midfield, plays towards Dom Tier. He's lifted it nicely to Waldron, tries to push it down the line. It'll go out for a Kings Lynn throw-in. Waldron's adamant it didn't touch anybody. He points his finger in frustration at the linesman. Can't repeat what he said, but I could lip read it. It began with an S. As Tier tries to win it back for Scarborough. Clunan flicking it back towards Doherty. Doherty now clipping it out wide. And this is for Fleming to give chase to. The substitute playing right back. Forward now towards Ubazonu. Here comes Morgan Williams. Everyone barring Bennett is back in the defensive frame for Scarborough. As Kings Lynn, right wing position. Move it infield to Clunan, 35 yards out. Doherty. Allen's bearing down on him. Kings Lynn are waiting for that opportunity to maybe play it in behind Scarborough, but they're holding firm for now. Right midfield area again. Now forward to Ubazonu, and a crunching tackle comes in from Alex Brown, but he swatted the ball away and out for a throw-in far side.
I think Kings Lynn had 2 or 3 opportunities to cross the ball there, and if I'm a striker in the box and we're losing 1-0, I'm screaming at my teammates, "Hey, get the ball in the box. You're not going to score from out there." But yeah, Brownie just put a lovely tackle in there.
And in comes the throw-in now. It's a high and hanging one. They've got to deal with it, and it's headed behind for a corner kick. Thornton just having a little bump of the gloves with Ryan Whitley. That was a little bit hair and scarum there.
It's hard to deal with it. You see how far the throw-in went, and yeah, Witts and Big Will are having a bit of a do. And that'll carry on into the change room, I would have thought.
In comes the resulting corner, and it's fed towards the D of the penalty area. Wilson trying to flick it back in. He gets a second chance.
Great defending
he tries
again
to volley
by Brownie.
He's been superb.
Yeah.
And every week we always feel like he's certainly in amongst the action in a very, very leading feature.
Yeah, he's a top fullback, and for this level, probably the best in the league, in my opinion.
That's what Jonathan Greening said to me a couple of weeks ago as the ball is delivered in and Ryan Whitley collects.
30 time. Not too long though.
Just the 8 seconds. But he'll use every one of those seconds, I would suspect, as he bounces the ball. Referee has got his hand up, and he will now, with his 2 hands, boom the ball as far as he can. It just died in the air,
no.
and now a ball in behind looking for Ubazonu. Now, was he clipped?
Ref's
the
got his
answer
flag
is yes, and this will be a free kick.
I think he's put the flag up the linesman.
Linesman's got his flag up for offside, by the looks of things. Thought for a minute there Ubazonu was clean through and taken out, but the linesman's actually got his flag up for offside. That's a bit of a let-off.
I think Witts would have been getting in trouble there if that had come to anything, but really sloppy kick, to be honest. He's just caught the corner and just, get your foot through it, right, get it up the pitch. Got away with that one.
I just peered over there at presenter Pete Spencer, and he put his hands together for a moment. I thought it was almost like a little praying motion, but he's just keeping his hands warm and calling for calm as Will Jonathan Greening board is out again on the far side. As we'll probably find out in a moment how many minutes of stoppage time Scarborough have to hold on.
That's the ball. That's
Kings Lynn try and play a ball in behind looking for Marriott. Whitley's come out of his area, and it was such an awkward kick away, but it did the job. And Brown collects in the left back zone and clears out for a throw-in. There's going to be one final change for Kings Lynn before we see how much stoppage time will be given, because we are approaching the 90th minute. Kings Lynn need to throw everything at it now, and we will see that substitution that they want to make. It looks as though Trossard, the left back, is coming off, and in his place is going to be Festus Arthur, just to be an option from a set piece, wearing 27.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of size about him, hasn't he? Good time to get him on.
Former Hull City Academy man who knows this area well. Was at Chester earlier in the year.
Brilliant.
And tries to get an immediate action, but Whitley has watched that all the way into his hands. And that's really good goalkeeping.
Reminds me of some certain keeper we had at York City on our special run to the playoffs. That then.
Was it Ryan Whitley by any chance?
No, not quite, unfortunately. He looked like Whitley though.
He did. But Scarborough Athletic is the action this evening, and are they going to be maybe in the hunt for the playoffs and maybe joining the National League? Allen, up towards the penalty area, has a shot on the break, but it whistles wide of the target, and that is a let off for Kings Lynn. As you would expect, they are going to be a bit open now because they've got to go for it the other way, and they will present some chances like that to Scarborough if they thread the ball right. Now Kings Lynn trying to come the other way, however, and it's played by Lambert. And now a chance for Kings Lynn. They're in behind the defence and into the net for Kings Lynn. A through ball. It's gone through Ryan Whitley. And the visitors grab a late equaliser. They all congratulate one another on this near side touchline. Ubazonu, I think it's Jack Lambert who led the hugs. Whoever it was who scored has taken the plaudits well. It was a great through ball. And Kings Lynn, might be Marriott who's claimed it, and it's 1-1 here right at the end of the game in stoppage time, and that has brought a real hush around Queensgate.
Yeah, it's fine margins, you know. Rio's gone through here. It's a difficult opportunity. 30 seconds later the ball's in the back of your net, and it's a real sickener for Scarborough.
Well, I'll try and give some comfort in a moment into what the league table looks like, but that blurs the opportunity of back-to-back clean sheets. And Kings Lynn hadn't gone away in this game. The ball going through.
I think personally, on reflection of the game, I think it's probably a draw, probably a fair result, to be honest with you. But you know, it's still not saying Scarborough would be really disappointed having the lead up until the 90th minute.
Just looking at the social media to find the confirmation of Kings Lynn's goal scorer, but we will wait and see. 1-1 then now here at Queensgate. They don't drop points very often, Scarborough, this year, but they are possibly heading into that.
I don't know if it was Lambert that scored, you know.
Could have been. He was getting plenty of congratulations, but I saw Marriott as well taking the plaudits. 1-1 though, that's what matters. And Scarborough Athletic, that will feel like a sickener. Meanwhile, Lambert trying to head the ball forward. Weleji will clear away. Fourth official, I think, is going to get his board out shortly to signify the stoppage time, even though we're well into it.
I know, I don't think we've seen any stoppage time yet, have we? But we seem to be.
Well, we're into 3 minutes of it, so there will only be a couple of minutes more. Adam Marriott got the goal for Kings Lynn, the substitute. And now there's a real set to off the ball as a challenge went in late, and Luca Colville's trying to protect his teammate Richie Bennett, who's got himself in a real scrap over on the far side. Was watching action in the other half, and quite a lot to be dealt with here as it's still threatening to boil over. Alex Wiles is just being ushered away.
Yeah, well,
everyone around
didn't really see what was going on there, where the ball was in the other side of the pitch, and the next minute someone's laid out on the floor. It looks like a Kings Lynn centre half, maybe.
Well, Richie Bennett standing around the stricken player. Referee Dave Jones keeping eyes on him, as one or two more Kings Lynn players are still here getting quite animated, and one or two of the backroom staff of Kings Lynn having to draw their players away, as Paul Caddis, I think, is venting his frustrations, which would maybe suggest that it's a Scarborough player who's maybe lashed out off the ball. Dave Jones taking as much time as he can. Bennett is hovering around as the only player in a red shirt.
I'll be very surprised if anyone's actually seen what's going on here, because like you said, the ball was in the other side of the pitch, so unless he's taking word off somebody else, I'll be surprised if the refs actually knows what's going on here.
Well, all of the Scarborough, all of the Kings Lynn backroom staff are actually by the perimeter fencing now, and I think have taken umbrage maybe to a supporter or two over there as well, who are having their thoughts, and it's getting really quite unsavoury. Scarborough here have walked away. A steward has now leapt over the perimeter hoarding, so this is going to take some real clearing up to do, as
it seems like there's no bookings or anything. The refs seems like he's getting on with the game now.
Everything seems to be calming back down again. In fact, I can tell you that in all of that, Luca Colville has been sent off.
Has he?
Luca Colville has been shown a red card. It's just come up on the social media of Scarborough Athletic. Didn't even see him walk off the pitch.
He hasn't walked off. I'm sure I haven't seen him walk off.
Well, there's 9 outfield players out there, and Colville saw red. He must have gone straight away whilst we was watching all the scrapping in the aftermath take place in the 4th minute of added time. Sorry we can't be clearer, but we'll get Jonathan Greening's description as the ball is played up towards the penalty area. Kings Lynn have a shot which is deflected behind, stays in play in fact because of the wind. Cross comes in, Edgy tries to clear. Waldron now trying to help it forward, so 1 point is probably going to be a best result here for Scarborough Athletic, and that
was actually a really good opportunity.
Whistle. Great opportunity for Kings Lynn right at the end, but 2 points have been dropped here by Scarborough Athletic, and just before we dissect the game a little further, I can see Alex Brown and Richie Bennett have gone straight over to the officials as 1 or 2 handshakes take place. But a rather unsavoury end here at Queensgate. Luca Colville sent off for his involvement in a scuffle which took place in the right back area of Kings Lynn's half. Richie Bennett was involved too, but it all got really messy in an off-the-ball incident which Dave Jones deemed to give a red card to Luca Colville. We'll get more clarification on that with Jonathan Greening when we speak to him. But back to the game at hand as Scarborough walk off, Michael Coulson. How bitterly disappointed are they going to be to have 2 points dropped here?
Yeah, when you concede a late goal like that, it's like a defeat. It really is. But they've got to try and take the positives from the game. It was difficult conditions. There was always going to be a tough second half. To be honest, they were comfortable, and again, that last-minute goal. They've had a few go with them this year and a few go against them, but it's still another point on the board towards the playoffs. So they need to stay positive.
Michael Ingham having to just tell Richie Bennett to keep his calm and keep cool as the Kings Lynn players make their way over to their small pocket of supporters. You can hear the Scarborough fans around us banging the sponsor boards. I can tell you as well tonight that Macclesfield have won, but Telford, Darlington have both been beaten. Radcliffe have just been pegged back late by Alfreton as well. So even though Kings Lynn Town and Adam Marriott in the 92nd minute were able to snatch a point here, results have gone the way of Scarborough Athletic tonight. We've got another 18 minutes to dissect what has occurred here at Queensgate tonight. Will Thornton shaking his head as he makes his way off the park. He's a frustrated captain. He will feel disappointed that they haven't been able to keep a clean sheet. The tail of the tape then, Luca Colville scoring a free kick in the first half, 28 minutes in, gave Scarborough Athletic the impetus to go on in the second half. The conditions, however, helping Kings Lynn like it had helped Scarborough in the first, and they scored very late on a through ball by Adam Marriott under the legs of Ryan Whitley, who I imagine will be quite disappointed with not being able to keep it out. And then Luca Colville sent off in the 95th minute for an off-the-ball incident, and that means it finishes here at Queensgate. Scarborough Athletic 1, Kings Lynn Town 1.
Georgie Spanswick at breakfast.
I would like your embarrassing moments, please. It's a safe space. I won't tell anybody.
Got plenty of these. We were all getting a telling off in assembly at primary school.
Yeah.
Basically, somebody had clogged the toilet with loads of loo roll.
Rebels.
Basically, I'd been blamed for it. There was a group
Was
of
it
people.
you?
I'm not saying. I stood up.
Yeah.
In assembly. I said, sir, it wasn't me. It was somebody that looked like me. Even though he wasn't even talking specifically to me.
It wasn't him, but it was someone who looked like him. Mortifying.
Georgie Spanswick at breakfast. Weekdays from 6. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio York.
It's BBC Radio York Sport. Pete Spencer taking you through full time alongside Michael Coulson, and for now James Fletcher. We're just waiting for some of the Scarborough Athletic fans to make their way out of Queensgate Stadium. As you can imagine, quite a fan base have gathered either side of the tunnels just while the Kings Lynn players are allowed to go down it, and now the hordes will make their way out of Queensgate Stadium, and James Fletcher can go and grab Jonathan Greening. Fletch, just before we let you go, that will feel like 2 points dropped for Scarborough this evening. They were in a commanding position. They were some valiant defending from the likes of Will Thornton, from Kieran Willedge. To a man, Scarborough Athletic was superb tonight, and actually all of those 11 players have played the full 90.
Yep, they didn't make a single substitution. They'll be bitterly disappointed that they have let 2 points go, Pete. I think the disappointment will be that, and Michael can come in on this as well, I think from Kings Lynn's perspective, they were a side that were plugging away, but there was no clear pattern of how they wanted to get the ball in the back of the net, but a little bit of fortune in their equaliser perhaps.
Yeah, like I said in the commentary there, I just think they were playing quite safe football. Kings Lynn were not really hurting Scarborough. If you get the ball in the box, anything can happen, and the time they did get the ball in the box, it landed to one of their players and he's put it away. I think Witts will be a little bit disappointed, but it did come in quite fast. It's like I said, the big downfall was Rio Allen's opportunity 30 seconds before where he could have put Scarborough 2-0 up. It was a difficult chance. I'm not saying it was an easy chance, but he'd have fancied his chances when he was running through.
You've taken it right off my the page of my notes there, Michael. That chance as well, knowing as a striker, coming in on the right foot, it sat up seemingly nicely for him, but on this pitch you can't always trust the bounce, if that may be what it was, or maybe just being, he had run some distance to get to it as well, whether or not some tired legs at the end of it, and you swing a boot it, you don't quite get the contact you want.
I think it has took a bobble, to be fair to Rio, by looking how the ball's actually gone off his foot. I think on Astra he probably gets a lot better contact with that, but again, there's no excuses as a striker. You get into them areas, you've got to try and hit the target at least, and they've took a goal kick, gone down the other end and scored, so I'm sure he'll be bitterly disappointed tonight.
I can see them just setting up the camera down there for Jonathan Greening. What do you think he'll be saying to the troops at full time there, Michael? Because there were some disappointed faces going down the tunnel, but they should hold their heads high, unbeaten in 4 now, Scarborough.
I think John will be really happy with his team. I think they've worked really hard again today. The key thing for me was the first half. I think that once they got the first goal, they probably should have gone and maybe put the game to bed. I think they could have put it to bed if they really believed in themselves. So yes, he'll be disappointed with the result, but again, we've got another point on the board and the results have gone Scarborough's way, so yeah.
And playing with the wind in that first half, the weather and the conditions here really became a factor, certainly in the second half. Mm-hmm. It was very difficult for Ryan Whitley, for the likes of Will Thornton, Kieran Willedge, to clear the ball out of the back four and actually get some forward momentum. That was at points why the likes of Richie Bennett was so important in that second half. For so much of that second half, he'd done a great job getting his side up the pitch. Yeah,
he did, and like I said in the first half, I think it probably suited him more with the ball holding up, but coming out of the game, you look at Scarborough's 11 and you can't say any of them had an off day. They were all really, really good tonight, and deserve to be on the winning team with the efforts and stuff. But sometimes football, you don't get what you deserve.
I think all three of us probably missed the incident involving Luca Colville there at the end, sent off in stoppage time for the scuffle. It was on the rugby side of the field, so it was on the far end, so difficult for us to see. It'll be interesting to see what Jonathan Greening makes of all that, but I guess the fallout from that will be Luca Colville missing for 3 matches now.
Yeah, it's going to be a big miss for Scarborough. You know, Luca's probably the main player, but the one thing I would say about Luca, having played with him for a lot of years, is I've never seen him do anything off the ball or anything crazy, so I'd be very surprised if he's actually done something and it's not been took out of proportion.
It'll be interesting to see what happens and what manager Jonathan Greening made of the incident as well. It certainly looked like Paul Caddis and his coaching staff there on the sidelines were apoplectic about what had happened. So it'll be interesting to see what both sets of managers have to say after the match indeed. James Fletcher is shortly about to get some reaction from manager Jonathan Greening. We will bring that to you live here on BBC Radio York Sport. We're on air until 10 o'clock, so just time to get some reaction, I think, from manager Jonathan Greening, as just some of the Sea Dog supporters are gathering around the plinth where Jonathan Greening will come out, and we'll speak to James Fletcher down there. Just time to quickly run you through some of the results tonight in the National League North. We'll do a full roundup of all the scores after we've heard from Jonathan Greening, and I think the Sea Dogs manager is now with James Fletcher, so I'll bring that to you now here on BBC Radio York.
Thank you very much, Pete. We'll just allow Jonathan to just get ready and let the cameraman get ready for the football club as well. Jonathan, commiserations in the circumstances. Unpick that for us, and I guess we'll start from back to front and work through stoppage time. How do you feel you've let your team get away with that? How have you let them back in, is what I'm trying to say?
Well, I think we were the better team by far. I think we started the game really well. We had the win first half, and we played some really good stuff. I think Don Tears had a really good chance early doors, and then it was all us really, lots of pressure. We obviously get the goal through Luca Colville's free kick that goes straight into the goal, and second half we were absolutely terrific as well. Against a win, we battled, we defended, we had a couple counter attacks that were dangerous, but we were absolutely fine in the game. 1-0 up, with 4 minutes to go, cruising really, and just one bit of play where we didn't concentrate, didn't clear the ball, it bounced their play and he puts it in the back of the net, I think 92nd minute or something like that, and only 2 minutes to go. But listen, it's been a mad few days. Probably 5 o'clock last night we had 11 players for the game, so I think the players deserve all the credit. I thought they were absolutely outstanding today in terms of work ethic, attitude, grit. I think we made them look like the part-time team. If you watched the game tonight, we probably looked like the full-time team, but it wasn't to be. But I'm very proud of the players' performance tonight.
We'll come to injuries and what happened right at the end, but just from a manager's perspective, did you ever feel like your team was in danger of conceding? No,
not really. That's why we didn't make any subs really. We looked really comfortable. We defended our box really well. Obviously they had the win second half and there was a lot of long balls, but I thought we looked after the strikers okay. They made 3 subs early in the second half and then another couple, obviously to try and chase the game. But we had a few chances on the counter attack ourselves. Just before they scored, Rio's had a really good chance. I think the pass is played just a little bit behind him. It needs to be in front of him. But yeah, listen, the boys are devastated in there. I think the effort of the Saturday Tuesdays over the last few weeks has taken its toll a little bit. But I think today with the players missing that we had as well, only having numerous players to pick from, I thought the whole squad was absolutely outstanding, and I think we deserved the win. I believe we deserved the win, but that's football. It's fine margins, and if you don't defend for the full 90 minutes and the injury time, then you're going to get punished, and we got punished, and the players are a bit gutted about that in there.
Flashpoint right at the end. Whilst commentating, we saw the ball in the left wing area, but then it's all kicked off over on the right back from your point of view. Can you tell us what happened, because Luca Colville's been given a red card?
Yeah, he's been given a red card. Listen, there was loads of fouls on different players from them, from us. all over the pitch. The referee gave some, he didn't give some. I think there was a tussle between Luca and their right back who had come on, and they both fell on the floor. Luca's trying to get up, and I think he stands on his head by accident, and obviously it was right next to their dugout. They made a massive fuss about it, screaming and shouting, and obviously the referee sent him off. But Luca's not that kind of guy. He wouldn't have done it on purpose, and I think he was wrestled to the ground at the time as well in a headlock. So it's one of those things. Obviously gutted we'll lose Luca for 3 games now, which is obviously gutting because we're lacking players as it is, so to lose him for 3 games as well is going to hurt us, definitely.
And because it's 3 games, I take it that was violent conduct that the referee has seen.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's seen it. He's just gone off the shout. The linesman definitely didn't see it because I asked him. The 4th official didn't see it, and I think it was Benno said he was looking through a bunch of players, so I don't think the referee saw it as well. I think he's just gone off the shout, really. But listen, if he stood in his head, he 100% would have done it on purpose. He's probably the nicest guy we've got at the club. He's got a heart of gold. He won't want to hurt anybody intentionally, but listen, he's been sent off. We have to take it, and it's just gutting to lose a player of Luca's quality for 3 games.
And you lost Stephen Walker and Harry Green before kick-off. Were they precautionary with their injuries, or is there anything a bit more sinister?
No, not really. We obviously they both came off injured on Saturday. We thought they were going to be okay. Sunday they were still a little bit sore. Monday a little bit, still a little bit sore. We give them up to 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock today, but they both just didn't feel right. Green has got a hip flexor, which he came off on Saturday, and Wacker's been feeling his groins the last few games, which we've been had to manage a few times, and they just both worked right. But I thought Benno came in today and was excellent. He worked his socks off for the team. All the players who came in were really, really good. I thought Ducky was outstanding again today. I thought Walsey, to say that he's not played a full game for 4.5, 5 months, was absolutely incredible. I was only planning to play him 45, 60 minutes, and at half time I just said to him, you tell me when you need to come off, and he battled on and tried to get us the win, but unfortunately we couldn't get it.
I'll provide a crumb of comfort. Darlington have been beaten, Radcliffe have drawn, and Telford have lost tonight, so you are 2 points inside the playoff places. Does that mean anything?
No, not really, because listen, I think the group, we had a good conversation before the game today that we want to attack these next 9 games, and I think we did that, especially first half. I thought we really went for them. Like I say, lack of players, but I thought the players' work ethic was just honestly outstanding. I thought we played some really good stuff, especially first half as well. But I think I'm more gutted for the players, really, because I think they deserved the 3 points with the effort they gave tonight after a difficult away journey on Saturday, where we performed well as well, and we have been playing some really good stuff, and now we just had a chat in there to say, listen, there's 8 games left now. If we keep playing that kind of way, with that kind of attitude, that kind of mentality, that work ethic, we'll give ourselves every possible chance to get in the playoffs. And also I just said to him, listen, I know I say it most weeks, it's been like an incredible year, with everything that's been going on. A few months ago we had 8 or 9 first team players out of the equation, and we've been getting loans left, right and centre. The pitch situation, all that kind of situation. Favourites to get relegated at the start of the season, so I think we're sat, are we 6th at the moment? 6th in the fifth in the table. So with 8 games to go, 5th in the table, favourites to get relegated. We'll take that, but that doesn't mean we're happy. We're gutted about tonight, really gutted, but we want to try and play as well the last 8 games like we did tonight, and try and make sure we're in the playoffs at the end of the season.
Jonathan Green, thank you very much.
Always.
Thank you very much to James Fletcher and to Jonathan Greening for joining us live here on BBC Radio York Sport. Almost out of time here on BBC Radio York. Just time to run you through some of the scores in the National League North as things finished. It finished AFC Fylde 2, AFC Telford 1, Alfreton 1, Radcliffe 1, Bedford 0, Worksop 2, Chorley 1, South Shields 1, Curzon Ashton 2, Oxford City 2, Darlington 0, Buxton 2, Hereford 5, Leamington 1 in a real battle at the bottom of the table. Kidderminster 4, Peterborough Sports 0, Marine 2, Macclesfield 4, with Marine having a man sent off in that one. Merthyr Town 1, Chester 2, and Scarborough 1, Kings Lynn 1. It's actually showing a red card for Kings Lynn as well in the 90 plus 6 minutes, so maybe just not Luca Colville the only person to be sent off in tonight's game. That's about as far as we go tonight on BBC Radio York Sport. It finished here at Queensgate Stadium in Bridlington. Scarborough Athletic 1, Kings Lynn Town 1, Luca Colville with a whip free kick in the first half. Kings Lynn, though, grabbed a late stoppage time equaliser from Adam Marriott and Luca Colville, and it looks like a player for Kings Lynn Town as well also sent off. So 2 points dropped for the Sea Dogs, but they remain unbeaten in the last 4 games. Next up on Saturday, Harrogate Town against Salford City is the early kick-off in League 2. Live from the Exercise Stadium with Tim Steer and Paul Bolland will be on air at midday for all the build-up to that one. The Sea Dogs are back at home against playoff rivals AFC Telford United. You can listen to that match on DAB Digital Radio and online via the BBC Sport website and app with Darren Foreman and James Fletcher. Kick-off at 3 o'clock in that one. Meanwhile, on FM and BBC Sounds, York City travel to Aldershot Town in the National League. We've also got live rugby league commentary for you on Saturday from midday as the York Knights host Keighley Cougars in the 4th round of the Challenge Cup. That's going to be available for you online via the BBC Sport website and app. Andy Atkinson on air from 11:50 for you. But for myself, Pete Spencer, and the rest of the team, it's good night from us. The Late Show with Becky One is up next.
On the BBC Sounds app, on your smart speaker,
Play BBC Radio York.
and on your radio.
The sounds of North Yorkshire is
BBC Radio York.
At 10 o'clock with the BBC News, I'm Vicky Carter. Fresh explosions have been reported in Iran tonight after the US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth warned that today's airstrikes would be the most intense since the conflict began. The White House says the US military is moving to dismantle Iran's missile production infrastructure. It said long-range aircraft had used dozens of penetrator bombs to target facilities buried deep underground. The war continues to have repercussions for the UK economy. Prices of petrol, diesel and heating oil have all risen today. The average 5-year fixed mortgage rate climbed to just over 5%. David Miles from the government's official broadcaster, the OBR, says if oil and gas prices remain high, inflation could end the year close to 3% rather than 2%, which had been predicted before the conflict. Drivers say the increase in oil prices caused by the war is already affecting their lives. Michael Gatti runs several petrol stations in Cumbria.
The situation at the moment is very volatile indeed. Our cost price has gone up each day for the last 10 days or so. If the conflict goes on, I imagine it'll stay fairly volatile for quite a long time.
The Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy's reforms of the court system have been supported by MPs at their first Commons hurdle, despite some Labour MPs stating their opposition to the reforms. The plans would limit jury trials to cases with a likely sentence of 3 years or more. Several spoke against the idea, including the Labour MP Charlotte Nichols, who said she was waiving her right to anonymity as a victim of rape.
There is so much that we can be doing for rape victims that isn't the Lord Chancellor using them as a cudgel to drive through reforms that aren't directly relevant to them.
5 water firms have been refused permission to increase customer bills to the level they wanted. The Competition and Markets Authority said it had rejected the majority of funding requests from Anglian Water, Northumbrian Water, South East Water, Southern Water and Wessex Water. Bills are still set to rise to help the firms secure supplies and cut pollution. Some parents have chosen not to send their children into school due to safety concerns after claims a mass brawl broke out among students. Parents at Audenshaw School in Tameside in Greater Manchester have said their children were left scared to go into school after a fight allegedly broke out among more than 30 pupils on Monday. Audenshaw School said it was aware of the incident involving students and say it was dealt with promptly, and they're supporting all students and families involved. In the UEFA Champions League, Liverpool lost their game and Newcastle drew 1-1 with Barcelona. And one of the oldest nature reserves in Yorkshire is at increasing risk of drying out. Arscombe Bog in York is home to over 800 species of moths and plants, some of which are more than 500 years old. Yorkshire Wildlife Trust, which maintains the sites, created a fund